What's good, peeps? What's good? Hope you guys are well. What's good? What's good? What's good? Let's get these questions in. What's good? What is good? What's going on, Israel? I see you're not too happy. What's good? We here. We here. I see you're here. I see you're here. What's good? Come back. There we go. I'm very happy. Hey, Jose says I'm very happy. Why are you very happy? Bivol did what he had to do. Yeah, he certainly did. Bivol was class. Bivol was class. I have to give him. Bivol was class. You got to give Bivol his due. You got to give Bivol his due. Bivol was great in there. He was great in there. You got to give people their credit when they win. They win. You got to give people their credit, man. I was impressed by Bivol. I definitely was. Canelo rematches Bivol, says Tyron Doss. Yeah, man. I think Canelo will. I think the competitive nature of Canelo will want him to rematch Bivol. Do I think it goes any different? I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Bivol is a special, special fighter. I think it's going to be hard to beat him. It's going to be hard to beat him, guys. It's going to be hard to beat Bivol. The guy is really, really good. Really good. I was so impressed with Bivol. I think the way he was able to stay composed, the way he just stayed so calm, I was impressed, man. It's so hard to believe that Canelo lost, man. Yeah. Look, I'm a massive Canelo fan, just like you, some of you guys are. But I think Bivol is just special. I'm good, Ahmed. How are you? Bivol is just a good fighter, you know what I mean? And he just came up against a guy that was bigger, that could really box. And it was what it was. It was what it was. Tomorrow I'll be doing a breakdown of Bivol and Beterbiev and giving you my thoughts who wins that. Um, I'm happy. I had a feeling Bivol would neutralize him. You were right. Hey, Jose. You did say 7-5. Bro, I think Canelo should go back to 168. I think he might have to. I think he might have to. Bivol might just be a little bit too big for him, to be honest. Bivol might just be a little bit too big for him. Bivol was too big, too strong, and Canelo got tired and fatigued. Uh, he got tired and fatigued in the fights. What's going on, Makai? I hope you're good.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm all good, man. I'm all good. Yesterday we saw a upset. We saw an upset. Saul Canelo
Absolutely.
Alvarez was upset by Dmitry Bivol in a fight where Dmitry Bivol proved to the world that he's a star in world boxing.
Yeah, I'm very happy for Bivol. I mean, he didn't just outbox him; he outfought him too at times.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
You
Yeah,
know,
he did.
I mean, I think I gave Canelo like 3 rounds max,
Yeah, yeah.
3 2 rounds. That was That's
Yeah.
probably it.
What did you think of Bivol's performance? How matured he was, how calm he was.
Oh, Bivol looked great. I mean, Canelo he kept the gun on the ropes. He wanted Bivol to attack at times so he could try and counter. I'm pretty
Mm,
sure he was trying to do it. Bibble, he stayed calm and composed and everything. He just stuck behind his jab, use his footwear like he always does, the
mm.
combos and everything. He was just and the power as well. The power, it was just he made Canelo realize that he's in there with the real deal. Really,
Mm-hmm. Um, just the whole fight was it was just a beautiful performance. It was, I have to say, it was a great, great performance by Canelo. The way he just, I mean, sorry, by Bivol. The way he used his jab, the way he got out of range, and then he threw his combinations. He threw at the right time. It was just a punch perfect performance, wasn't it, Makai?
yeah, absolutely. His defense was really good as well. He obviously he had his hands up, like it was he wasn't going through the guard or anything. He was just when Canelo would throw it, he would just move it a little bit into it, block it. Like he wasn't really getting hit clean or anything. It was mainly his arms that was
Mm,
actually getting hit.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Bibble looked great, and he's gonna look even better in the rematch if that's what happens.
Yeah. Do you think the rematch would be any different, or do you think Canelo could Canelo could, in the rematch come strong. What do you think?
He'd do a little bit better, but there's weight classes for a reason, and Bivol. I mean, Bivol, he wasn't like a lot bigger than him, but like he's very skilled. Bivol. I think Canelo should just leave Bivol alone for a minute. I don't think he should do it. I want to see. This has made me a lot more excited for Bivol Beterbiev.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the fight I really want to see now. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really want to see Canelo fight Bivol again because I just think he just needs to leave him alone. I don't see him winning the rematch. I definitely don't. He's still got the belts at 168. Defend those belts. I mean, if he will rematch Bivol, of course, because he was pound for pound number one.
It's his ego,
Canelo,
isn't
yeah,
it? It's his ego.
yeah,
There's no way he's gonna. He loves a challenge, Canelo. There's no way he's gonna
yeah.
want to let that loss. You know what I mean? It just won't sit well with him. You know what I mean? But the thing is, that could be Canelo's stock if he loses again, could completely go
Yeah,
down. Do you know what I
absolutely.
mean? So I don't know. I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. People will say, well, Canelo. I mean, he was just too big, Bivol. But again, can Canelo really afford another loss with how big a star he is? I don't know. You know what I mean? So I don't know what. It's a tricky one. What Canelo should do.
It's going to be very. I can't see how he's going to win it. I mean, Canelo, he couldn't. He couldn't really use his head move or anything because Bivol, he was just so long. He'd always get out there when Canelo would attack. Like the volume as well. Like he's just constantly on you, Bivol. Like he was just an animal in there. I don't know. I don't know, man. I can't really see how Canelo will get. He'll probably do a little bit more better. Everyone usually does when they rematch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he'll do enough to beat Bivol. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Michael, are you there? Oh no, I think Michael's having some trouble. But yeah. Yeah, man. I think it was just a great. Honestly, I said after the fight that I was telling my brother that Bivol just looked so much composed, and we thought after the fight where Bivol might end up getting robbed. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean? Because
he almost
yeah,
115, 113.
yeah, exactly. He almost got robbed. Do you know what I mean? And we were like, oh no, is it 115, 113? Because obviously we thought there's only one winner here, really. Like, you know what I mean? They can't surely not give Bivol this fight. But
Yeah,
when I had 115, 113, and then it was Bivol, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, fair enough. Like, because you never know, you know what I mean? You never know with Canelo fights. Sometimes a close one, it goes in the guy in Canelo's favor. He seems to get the close decision. So yeah, he obviously didn't get the decision here. Bivol did what he needed to do
yeah.
and get the win.
Yeah.
Steven's in the house. What's
I'm
going on,
pretty sure. I'm pretty
Steven?
sure me and Steven picked
Yeah, you
Bivol.
and Steven
Yeah,
pick Bivol. Yeah,
we
you
both
and
picked
Steven
Bivol.
pick Bivol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What,
pick Bivol to win the fight.
yeah, what's up, Makai?
What's up, Steven, man? How are you?
What's up, man? Rand? You doing all right? You
I'm
good?
all good, man. I'm all good, man. I'm all good. I'm just it's like when you get used to something, right?
Uh
You
huh.
get used to something happening and it gets repetitive. Like you get used to someone winning, and all of a sudden you see them lose. You're like, what's gone off here? Like I remember when Vladimir Klitschko was winning for all those years, and then Tyson Fury came and beat him. It was like, I can't believe what just happened. Do you know what I mean?
Right, right. You get so accustomed to something that's become the norm. But I
Yeah,
think this is a good wake up call for the boxing community.
yeah, yeah.
You got to stay objective and you got to stay open minded. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be a fan of somebody. It's okay to consume yourself with not consume, but it's okay to be a fan. But when you consume yourself with fandom, you kind of lose sight of things and you kind of set yourself up for unrealistic expectations. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Dmitry, he never thought of Canelo as this uh uh omnipotent God, you know. And that's what I was saying earlier in the chat, man. It's like we manufacture gods out of our fellow men. See, Dimitri, he saw Canelo as his peer, as another. He said it over and over again in the press conferences. Dimitri was like, man, to me, he said, man, that's all, man. Y'all saying that Canelo. He said, I'm me. He's just another boxer. I'm a killer. I know I'm a killer. And and just I'm pretty sure Makai would agree with me. Just watching Dmitry in his fights, man, he had intangibles that were kind of really tailor made for beating somebody like Canelo. He really did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I understand that what Canelo means to a lot of people, not just the Mexican fan base, but the Mexican American fan base. People like yourself, Imran. Canelo meant a lot to you guys, but man, everybody can get beat, even for Mayweather. If Floyd, if he would have stuck around long enough, he would have got beat. He would have got
Did
beat.
Floyd fight anybody like Bivol in the sense that, like, in his prime, that was as good as big, because that was, to be honest, it was fairly a big risk for Canelo to fight this dude. Do you think Floyd would have taken a risk against somebody like this?
No, he never. He never would have taken a risk against somebody that he could foresee himself getting beat by. But I'll say this too. I'm going to be fair about it. I don't really think Canelo would never took that fight with Bivol if he thought he could beat him. He never would have. Man, listen, man. Sometimes you got to hear the hard truth. The hard truth is that he thought he could beat Dmitry. You overlooked him. And what happened was you got a good taste of humble pie. Did it taste good? No. He wanted to spit it out.
Do you think he looked at, do you think he thought Bivol wasn't as good as what he turned out to be?
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. There's a ton of fighters, man, that since they don't have the recognition, the namesake behind them, that a lot of these fighters, the top tier fighters, will just, what's his name? His name was give me him. I need somebody. Give me him. Or what's his name? His name was Makabu even. Makabu, give me him. Or whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think Earl Spence is chomping at the bit to fight somebody like Boots? Come on, man. I'm gonna just be honest with you. And I'm an Earl Spence fan. But he ain't lining up to fight him.
But Stephen, here's the thing though. I get what you're saying. But irrespective of whether Canelo thought he could beat Bivol and stuff, and whether he probably thought it was easier than what it was, it turned out to be harder. The fact is, he did go up and he was fighting a guy in his prime that was a champion at 175. This wasn't a washed up Kovalev. This was a guy in his prime. I don't really see any other fighters doing it like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't really see any other fighters taking risks like that. Canelo doesn't even need to take the risk, by the way. He could just fight easier fights and make a shed load of money and just beat up bums. But he took the risk. So for me, and now he wants to match as well. Even though I don't think personally, I don't know what you guys think. I think I don't think he can win the rematch. Like, I'll just be brutally honest. I think it will be very difficult for him. But if he takes the rematch and he wins, for me, his legacy goes far greater than what.
Oh, yeah.
Now, his legacy goes to another level if he wins the rematch.
Yeah, if that was to happen, but realistically, man, listen, it's Mother's Day here. Is it Mother's Day where y'all at Makai and Imran? Is it Mother's Day there too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
is it?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think it is.
Mother's Day here. I don't want to listen, man. I'm not here to bring no bad news, be the bearer of bad news. But I'm here to tell you.
Say it. Uncut.
I'm gonna say it uncut then. Yeah. There's no way he can beat Dmitry. Dmitry, he needs to leave that alone. Leave that alone, go down the road and find somebody else.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
I want to ask you something, Stephen. Did you think Canelo gassed in there?
Oh yeah, he was gassing, man. He was gassed. You know, he was breathing out his mouth. He was breathing out his mouth hard, and he was frustrated. He couldn't do nothing. It was bad, man. That was bad, dude. That was bad.
Canelo, we heard that he went on some next vegan diet. A lot of people were saying, why did he, when you're winning and doing well, why do you need to fix something that's broke? I don't want to make any excuses because it might not be nothing to do with that. It might just be Bivol's just a better boxer and bigger and whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is, a Canelo for me, I've noticed in his fights, when you put this guy under pressure, right? He gasses. You look at the Golovkin first fight. He gassed.
Mhm.
The reason why he didn't gas in some of the fights against Saunders, Caleb Plant, and all those guys is those guys weren't able to exert any kind of physical pressure on him because they never had any power or physical strength. So Canelo just kept walking. And most importantly, he was fighting at his own pace in those fights.
Yeah,
Bivol did not allow him to fight at his own pace. So he was fighting at Bivol's pace, and that's why he got tired.
yeah, yeah. Listen, Imran, if you were preaching to a choir, they all be saying amen because everything you said was just pinpoint. It was 100,000% correct, man.
Kirsten Purdy said Ward would have destroyed him on the inside. And I was like, one thing I want to say about Ward, I'll say this, right? I like Andre Ward. I think Ward was a great fighter. A lot of people are now coming out and saying that Ward would have destroyed Canelo or this, that. Let me tell you something. Dmitry Bivol would be a serious problem for Andre Ward. Who did Andre Ward beat as good as Dmitry Bivol? Nobody.
Dmitry, he's just a bad matchup for anybody, man, including Art of Beterbiev, man. He's just a bad match because he's kind of got like a little bit of Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao in him, the way he has that same bounce and that same kind of those fighters with that kind of like unorthodox bounce to them, and they can kind of hit you from angles. Those fighters are hard. Those type of fighters are hard to beat. But he's kind of like that. He has a little bit of that in him, but he also has a lot of skill and precision in him too. So all his punches are educated, and he knows when to throw the combination. He's just gonna be a bad matchup for anybody at 175.
Do you think he beats Beterbiev?
I think he might. I think he might. I think he gives. I think he might get. I think he might. I don't know if he beats him. I'm leaning towards him beating Beterbiev. And I said that before on our past live streams. I've said that. I think he beats Beterbiev. What you think, Makai?
Nah, I don't think he beats Beterbiev. Man, that guy's a monster. But I mean, so is Bivol. But with the Gavodsvik fight, him. Bivol and Gavodsvik, they're quite similar, they're both well using their distance and everything, but with Gavodsvik, he had a lot of success because, he was using angles on Beterbiev, but Bivol doesn't use angles at all. So, and I feel he would need that for someone like Beterbiev, because after, Beterbiev's pressure, the power and everything will just get to him. Don't get me wrong, it'll be a good fight, but I'll probably lean towards Beterbiev for that.
Do you think Beterbiev would stop Canelo?
Probably. I mean, Bivol, he looked like he hurt Canelo a few times. Canelo was on the ropes constantly. His body language and everything. He didn't. It wasn't just the skills; it was the power as well. And Beterbiev, he hits a lot harder than Bivol, and he's
Yeah, I think Bivol stop. I mean, I think Beterbiev stops Canelo fairly easy because, like you said, like Makai was saying last night, you could see the only thing that kept Canelo from not getting stopped was the fact that he was trying not to get stopped. For instance, when you try not to get knocked out, you're kind of doing. It's hard to knock somebody out that doesn't have intentions on. If you just say throw caution to the wind, say hey, let's bang, so you might get knocked out. But if you're looking for that, and if you avoid and doing all the right things to avoid getting knocked out, saying you're not gonna get knocked out. But you know, if Canelo would have just went down on the shield, he would have got stopped last night.
Yeah.
Paulie Malignaggi said that, Canelo didn't bite down on the gum shield. He should have bit down on the gum shield and gone after him. Do you think that's a bit harsh? Do you think kind of like he said he did?
No, that's what he should have did. Listen, Iran, listen, man, that's what he should have did. Listen, what kept Canelo kind of apprehensive for doing that because he didn't want to. He already knew he was gonna lose. He already knew that the fight was over. He already sensed they was gonna lose, but he didn't want to lose in a disgraceful, kind of humiliating manner. He didn't want to get knocked out or anything. He wasn't gonna give the fans that. He wasn't gonna give Bivol the opportunity to do that. But if he had that choice, the choice was there for him to bite down on his mouthpiece and go in head first. But I'm telling you, man, Canelo was in a place last night. Canelo, you switched sides on me. Canelo was in a place last night. Don't switch sides on me, man. I'll get you right here. But Canelo was in a place last night where he was stuck in a rock between a hard spot, meaning that he didn't know what to do. He was so frustrated, so incredibly frustrated last night, where he was just like kind of like, what do I do? I got nothing working for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, man. He was proper frustrated. D Money also picked Bivol to win. What are you saying, D? What are you saying, D Money? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I know you're having a hard day, man. I know
Yo,
you're
man,
having a hard day.
it was a beautiful boxing performance by Dmitry Bivol. I have to say, man, it was a beautiful performance. On Canelo's part, not so much. But on Bivol's part, man, he really turned up and showed the goods. He showed the world that he's the top fighter. What did you make of it?
Yeah, man, I agree. Yeah, I think Bivol just got underrated. And I think, because Bivol is like a no name,
Yeah.
especially he's not like a big star, in America. A lot of people were underestimating him. Like you really had to go look at film to, see that Bivol is really, really, really like skilled and talented. When you look at like statistics and stuff like that, he's really talented. But if you didn't do that, then yeah, obviously Canelo with how good he is, you just think he's gonna, beat him. But yeah, it was tough. Do you think it was Eddie Reynoso's fault? Like it didn't seem like the game plan wasn't that good for Bivol.
Well, I don't know whether it's Eddie Reynoso's fault. A lot of people started jumping on Eddie Reynoso now because Canelo lost. But all the time when Canelo was doing well, they were giving him praise and saying he's the best trainer and stuff. So,
But
it's just
you know what though? You know what? Real quick, I'm just sneak this in. I'll let everybody else talk because
yeah.
I've been talking. I've been doing a whole bunch of talk. But I'll say this real quick, man. Everybody seemed to give De La Hoya a lot of grief and a lot of flack for what he said. But De La Hoya was saying this a long time ago that he's seen because De La Hoya is a former boxer, a former top tier boxer at that, so he knows what to look for. And he said that
He said what?
I think he froze.
Oh, is he froze? Is Stephen froze? Stephen? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, carry on, D Money. Oh, Stephen, you there?
yeah, he was just
Yeah,
saying that he was saying that De La Hoya need to start. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was De La Hoya was saying that Canelo need to start. Getting some different looks from Eddie Reynoso because it's all like the same type of stuff. Canelo, I mean, De La Hoya was saying this a long time ago. It's a long time ago. You gotta, introduce different routines and different strategies into your repertoire to keep you kind of, unpredictable.
But here's the thing, though. It was just it was a masterclass performance by Bivol, man. I don't really think there's much he could have like. What could Canelo have done? He just was outweighed and out like the Bivol used his size to a very good his advantage. He outboxed, he neutralized. What did you think, D-Money? What could a Canelo have done? What could he have done to make win that fight?
Man, well, I'd say the biggest thing is that, and I don't know if it's the weight. I think part of it is the weight, but he has to fix this stamina thing. To me, by the fourth round, he was gassed. You could see he was tired. Like he
You
was
can't,
like
can't fix that.
noticeably tired.
That's a natural. You look at Conor McGregor. Look at people like that. That you can't fix those type of things. Like he must train. He must train in like Canelo must be one of the best conditioned athletes. Look at all the money that he's got. Look at the resources he's got. You know, I just think that's always going to be like that when he's pushed and he's in a tough fight. Look at McGregor in the UFC. He was exactly the same.
I mean,
Gassed
Canelo,
every
he's always
time.
had problems with his
Every time
weight.
he's gassed. Say that again, Makai.
Yeah, Canelo, he's always had problems with his weight, especially very early in his career. He's always had problems with it. I don't think he can change that or anything.
You know,
Especially against someone like Bivol.
did you hear what I said, D Money? Prior to I think you coming on, I told Steven that Canelo Alvarez, the reason why I personally thought maybe he had fixed his stamina issue, but I said I actually don't know if Canelo's stamina issue has been fixed because I saw against Golovkin, but Golovkin was the reason why Canelo gassed against Golovkin is because Golovkin was able to dictate the pace of the fight. But Saunders, Plant, and all these guys that he was fighting, Canelo was fighting at his own pace. So things were easy for him, right? Yesterday, last night, again, Dmitry Bivol was dictating the pace. So Canelo likes to take a lot of rests in rounds. He likes to take a lot of rounds off. Not rounds off, but in between rounds, he likes to take his rest where he's not really doing a lot, right? Bivol wasn't allowing him to take that rest. So Bivol was always making him work, right? And also Bivol had the power to gain Canelo's respect. Bivol had power in his punches, right? So Canelo just couldn't walk forward and be nonchalant about what was coming back because Bivol could crack. Those combinations were hurting Canelo, right? So when you combine all those things together, your stamina is gonna go. So Canelo, it's not the fact that Canelo's just not been pushed by the guys that he's been fighting. Dmitry Bivol was able to push Canelo and put Canelo in that stage where he would tire. Unfortunately, I'm not sure. And up at that weight at 175, it's only going to make things worse, to be honest. So I don't know whether he can rectify that, D, I don't think he can.
Well, if he can't, it's going to be. I think that he should just move on from. I mean, if he's not going to move on from 175, then he needs to move on from Bivol because Bivol's work rate. He has the legs. Like he fights that way against, everybody. He did the same thing to Joe Smith. Like it's all 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, we're not taking breaks and stuff like that. And I'm not going to be scared to come after you if you start getting on the back foot. So I think he might have to just leave this alone if he can't fix that. And then the other thing, he just has to I thought I might see more of the Danny Jacobs Canelo, but obviously it's a different weight class. But he had to be more defensively, more upper body movement, more trying to slip, and he did that on the ropes. You know what I'm saying? But Bivol was able to counter him way, like effectively. Like he was hitting him a lot with the jabs, with the counters. And he can't get hit like that. If you're getting hit like that and your work rate doesn't match it, Bivol's out throwing and outlanding you, you're going to lose on the points if you can't get him out of there. So he would have to fix that defense too a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can, boys. I genuinely don't know. Like I just think I don't know how Canelo can win this fight. I think Canelo, what he'd have to do, he'd have to throw more punches. He'd have to have more output. But if his stamina is going with the output that he threw yesterday, how the hell is he going to throw more punches?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say, Imran. You took the words out of my mouth. He did it a little bit, slightly yesterday, the movement and the defensive. But he was, he was just in a pickle. And he was just, his whole game plan after he saw that, I obviously can't have boxing guy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw haymakers for the rest of the night, and that was a bad that was a bad plan. You know,
So,
because
so
everything he was throwing was you know, just trying to take his head off. And you know, so like I said earlier, Dmitry Bivol, he's eating his shots like they was Rice Krispie treats. Good.
So Kirsten Purdy said maybe they need to pay Bivol to take a dive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he ain't the one
Yeah.
for those, man. Bivol, man, and that's one of the things I love about him the most. You could tell that this guy, I could tell before the fight, he was after greatness. Like Bivol wanted to like prove that he was, you know, he was waiting for this moment. You know.
Yeah, and I don't even think Bivol was even really tripping on the greatness part. He was just like, hey man, this dude, I'm finna show these suckers, man, that this dude, you know what I'm saying, this dude just another dude to me. He's just another man. That's
Steven,
yes, sir.
what in your opinion? If this, I think the rematch is gonna happen. Me and you both know the rematch is gonna happen because Canelo's got pride and he's not gonna not want to rematch Bivol, right? So this is gonna happen. I know we're saying he should leave it alone or whatever, but we know this rematch is gonna happen. Canelo's not going away. He's hurt right now. He's upset. So what does he have to do? What does he have to do? In your opinion, what do you think Canelo needs to do in order to win the fight? If you were to set a plan.
The only thing I could think is load his hands wrap. Load his hands wrap or something. You know, load him with some type of or hide some brass knuckles in there or something. You know what I'm saying? But anything other than that, man, we already said it, man. Ain't nothing he can do, man. Ain't nothing he can do with that. Listen, man. Listen, I'm gonna be you want me to keep it really
real
100,
100. Go on.
Keep it real, Steven.
Listen. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Canelo don't need to be campaigning at 175. He don't need to be there at 175. He need to go on back down to 168. Okay? If you don't, it's gonna be trouble.
Yeah.
There's nothing but trouble at 175. You stay out of 175. Stay away.
But we know that's not gonna happen. After that defeat, we know he's gonna fight Bivol again. There's no way he's not gonna.
It's gonna be a career, Imran. Listen,
irrelevant whether it's gonna be the same thing. He's gonna go there. We know he's gonna go there. You know he's gonna go there. Is he not gonna take the fight?
I don't sanction that. And I think that I think Eddie Reynoso and them, they say, hey, listen, man, last night we was in some trenches, man, and you got out, not on your back. You would now we can go back in, but I don't know if I'm gonna be behind you on this.
Yeah.
They need to look out for him.
You know what? Yeah. One thing I will say though is what do y'all think about this though? Because according to the judges, Canelo only lost what? He only lost the fight by what? 2 rounds?
No, 1 round.
So basically, in the rematch,
so if Canelo could go in and improve just a little bit, like he did with Triple G, like come back and he's just gonna be, I don't know, do whatever, just be better, then he could pull a robbery. If you only lost one last night, you only lost 1 round. He can do better with Bivol than that.
Bivol knows this though, so he's gonna
let Claude go. Let Claude. What are you saying, Claude? How are you?
I'm great, Imran. How are you doing, man?
I'm all good, brother. I'm all good.
I have to say, man, I did feel for you, Imran. I was looking at your feeds. I was looking for your postings when the fight was going on and afterwards. And I know you're a big Canelo fan, so I know all Canelo fans are feeling a little bit. But he has nothing to be ashamed of, man. The better man won, and so be it. Having said all that, I wanted to join right on that point, right? And I'm glad he brought that up. And I think I wrote this to you and you answered me back.
Yeah.
But Imran, these judges favor Canelo so much, and it's so obvious that I think, and I'm sorry, a lot of people who don't like, look, I respect Canelo. He's a great fighter, but I have to say, I think his record is better than it should be. And I think he got exposed. The judges often favor, let me put it this way. If it's possible, this is what happened. Let me explain. How is it that Bivol got robbed and he still won? That's how I feel. He got robbed and he still won.
Yeah.
I feel that he got robbed on the scorecards, but he overcame it anyway and still won. You know,
Who are you?
there was no way that they could give him the loss and give Canelo the win. But he got robbed because there is no way that he only won by 1 round. There's no way.
No.
And
Crazy.
and that's how I believe a lot of opponents of Canelo have felt throughout the years, aka your Lara, aka your Golovkin, and things like that. Canelo's record could easily he could have this could be his 4th loss on his record.
Claude, what I
Easily.
will say though, what I will say is about the Lara fight, right? I personally think Lara was very, very negative in that fight. Like I don't think he won that fight. Golovkin definitely won the first one, 100%. Bivol definitely won, but Lara, I have my question marks about that. I don't think he won that fight personally.
Yeah, same.
I don't think Lara did enough, to be brutally honest. Like I think did you think Lara was like Bivol yesterday? How Bivol dictated the whole fight and he was making Canelo miss and making him pay? That's what you call winning a fight. And everyone's come out and said Bivol won the fight. Even Canelo fans have come out and said openly that Bivol won pretty easily, to be honest. And even I said that it wasn't a 7-5 fight. It was more 9-3, 10-2. Let's be brutally honest, right?
But sound like me.
Lara, yeah, 10-2, 9-3, right? That was what I saw yesterday. I don't know if anyone saw it closer, but I thought it was 9-3, about 10-2. I thought it was pretty.
Yeah.
It was a pretty easy fight. Like, I don't want to sound easy-ish fight for Bivol, right? It wasn't. I don't even think he broke sweat, really.
Yeah,
Like,
he won it very comfortably, and I felt with the Lara one, I felt Lara gave it away in the second half of the fight. I don't. Yeah, people overreact about that fight to like Lara gave him a boxing lesson. He really didn't. If I'm being honest, he didn't. I mean,
Claude,
he did
if you
rounds,
were to say about Golovkin, I'd agree with you. Like Golovkin first fight, that was bad.
Okay, well, what I'm referring to is not the fans, it's the judges. What I'm saying is they had the Floyd fight tied. One judge had it tied.
Yeah, that's
right?
absurd.
One
that's
judge,
absurd.
one judge, they had the Golovkin fiasco. We all know that Golovkin won that one. Right? What I'm saying is that when they lean very hard and generously to Canelo, and it doesn't do him any favors. His record is probably better than it is because of the leanings towards the judges. Not by much, but 1-2 fights. He could. Let me put it this way. I believe, this is what I believe. And that's what I said in your comment section, I think a while back. I believe that if you flip Lara and Canelo and their performance, right? And you flip it, and Lara did what Canelo did, and Canelo did what Lara did, Canelo wins that fight.
He does. And to add to your point real quick, Claude, I'll help you out. One of the judges scored, I'm looking at it right now on my phone. One of the judges scored Canelo for Lara. They said Canelo won 117 to 111.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I feel like that's what Claude's talking about. Like that's kind of like
the fight was close with Lara. I just don't think that the Lara fight was no robbery. Like, do you know what I mean? It was I think it was a close fight. Do you know what I mean? It was a close fight, which could have gone either way, a proper close one. I think the Golovkin first one, that's where you got to be upset about.
Imran, man, listen, man. That Lara fight, man. I mean, we all got our opinions, and I respect your opinion. But man, come on, dude. Man, that was a rivalry, man. That was a rivalry with two pistols, man.
So what are you saying? You think that was like Bivol fight?
Yeah, man, it was pretty conclusive to me, man. It was
you really think so?
Yeah, man. Whoever the new guy is, Claude sound a lot like me.
No, but Claude never said it was a robbery.
Well, he was.
I think it should have been a draw. I think it should have been a draw.
A draw would have been
robbery. I think it could have gone either way. But I think a draw was a good conclusion. But to have it like my man pointed out, 117 to 111, no, like Canelo's always getting those type of undeserved scores by the judges, always. And I'm kind of sick of it. I just want to see boxer A and boxer B for not their name, for their skills, for what they're doing in the ring, and judge it on that. Nothing else.
But Claude, what I want to say, I know what you're saying about the scorecards about yesterday. I think we all thought the scorecard should be a bit wider. But do you think boxing won yesterday in terms of the right man got his hand raised? And that's the most important. Yeah, they might have been scorecards we didn't, but boxing won yesterday. Because let's be brutally honest, when 115, 113 got read out, me and you both thought that Canelo's won it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
boxing won yesterday.
Yes and no. I'll say yes and no. And you tell me if I'm right, Imran. Yes and no. It won because the right guy won, but it lost because it shows you what it takes for someone to actually have to beat Canelo. It takes you have to. You're against every and you know in his post fight press conference, Bivol said it. He said it. He said, "Look, he goes. Even Eddie Hearn was against me. He goes, everyone was against me. Everybody. Eddie Hearn, he said, was against me. You know. So yes, the right guy won, but it just shows you. I'm sorry to say, and I know Canelo fans are gonna come at me, but it shows you how biased they are towards Canelo. That a guy has to do what Bivol did to actually squeak out a 1-round victory. That's crazy.
I think you've got to understand that when you're a massive star like Canelo is, and he brings so much money, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes here. You know what I mean? We don't know what goes off behind the scenes and stuff. So I personally think that you got to realize a lot of people lost yesterday. Forget the fans. We're fans. Eddie Hearn lost yesterday. Do you know what I mean? He lost big money yesterday. You know, people, the casinos and all of that lost a lot of money yesterday. You know, there's a lot of people that are crying today. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are upset because
then
that's hurt a lot of people.
They have to tell their boy Canelo to don't bite off more than he can chew then. Right? Don't bite off more than you can chew. If you don't, you know, it's a fight. What do you think? Bivol's gonna come and just lay down? No, it's a fight. You know, forget Vegas, forget everything. You got two guys with big pride on the line. You know, the guy's gonna come out and try and knock your head off. And you know, these guys made so much money on the back of Canelo, and I know they don't want their cash cow to go away, but I'm sorry, man. I don't like the bias that he gets, and I'm glad the right guy won, but wow, boxing needs it needs a purge, man. I don't know if it's ever gonna get it, but it definitely needs a purge to get that type of bias out of it.
So Eric, Eric makes a good point. He says complain about the judges, but it's not Canelo's fault. He's not employing them.
Who? No, I'm not mad at Canelo. I'm mad at the judges. When did I say I'm mad at Canelo?
No. I'm just saying. Eric is pointing out that obviously it's not Canelo's fault that he gets you know, but we don't know. Here's the thing though. Do you think him going with, because with Eddie Hearn it seems like a lot of that was more protected under De La Hoya.
Sorry, I had a phone call coming there, Imran.
Somebody's phone was buzzing.
Do you think he's more protected under De La Hoya, under Eddie Hearn? Because it seems like Eddie Hearn, a lot of his fighters lose. So do you think there was some kind of something going on where De La Hoya had him protected? Because Canelo, like a lot of those decisions that you're talking about were under De La Hoya, right?
Personally, I think that I think De La Hoya is a massive name.
Yeah,
but I do think under Eddie Hearn he was still protected. I don't necessarily think there was I don't see a massive difference. He got outboxed, you know. He got outboxed yesterday, you know. And to what you guys were speaking about, and Imran and the rest of the panel, you guys tell me. I think Bivol can really. I didn't realize Bivol can absorb that type of power. The power of Canelo did not seem to affect him at all yesterday. Maybe on the arm, I think the tactics that Canelo had to employ after a while was beat him on the arm to try and stop him from hitting that jab. He did change his tactics. He did. Like people think he didn't change his tactics. He did, but nothing was working.
Y'all think he was hitting him was Canelo intentionally trying to hit Bivol on the arm, or was Bivol
Yes.
blocking his shots?
I think
No,
Bivol was blocking.
both.
Okay.
Yeah, but with the power thingy, I knew Bivol would be able to take Canelo's punches because, you know, in the Bivol versus Joe Smith, obviously we know how hard Joe Smith punches, and I saw him take like 5 overhand rights from him, and like the guy didn't even get put down or anything. So yeah, I wasn't surprised about him taking Canelo's power.
He had got buzzed one time. I was like at the end, almost towards the end of the fight. Bivol got caught with a right hand. He got buzzed one time at the end of the round, and that's all I heard from everybody leading up to the fight. Oh, Joe Smith even buzzed him. You know, is that overhand right? You know, Bivol. You know, he's susceptible. Like, can he take power? You know, that's all I heard.
Yeah, and they also forgot that obviously Joe Smith hits 10 times harder than Canelo, and you know, Joe Smith, he has a way longer reach than Canelo. I can't see Canelo landing those kind of punches.
Hey, let me say something real quick.
Go on,
So
Red.
this,
Long time.
all right. So this is how ridiculous the Canelo fanboyism is. Bivol is the bigger fighter, obviously. He's obviously the more skilled fighter. When in the history of boxing is the bigger, more skilled guy the underdog? Like Canelo, they try to make him out to be like Superman. I was hearing ridiculous shit like he would go up to heavyweight and beat Usyk. Like that's insulting. Like as a person who watches this sport.
No one said that.
Oh no, there were people saying that. Trust me. Hell, like when they made when Eddie Hearn said that he could beat Usyk at 200, a lot of his fans were like, yeah, that could happen. Canelo can do anything. So. Let me also say this. This is the first real opponent that Canelo has fought since Triple G. And just like that, I thought he lost the first one, and I'll say he edged out the second one. But I didn't consider Billy Joe Saunders a real opponent. I've been saying that on this panel. Caleb Plant, to me, is fought nobody. And who's the other guy? Callum Smith, domestic level fighter. This is the first real opponent he's fought since Triple G, and he lost. So I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna just say what I've always said. I've never thought Canelo was the best fighter in the world. I just thought he was the most popular. I'm done.
Wow, short and sweet, man. He's to the point. I don't know, man. I still don't know. I still think, man. I think Canelo I still don't think Canelo gets much credit, man. He's just gone up and fought a guy that's so good at 175, and he's got beat by him, and it's kind of like, well, you know, he's no good. He's no good. Like, he
is good. He's just not as good as people say he is. Big difference.
But what do people say about him though? I don't know. Like, what?
Well, they say that since after for one, they say after Mayweather he's gotten so much better, but I still see the same weaknesses.
Okay, but I get you, Reb. I get you, Reb. What you're saying. But the guy's giving up so much size and weight against a very good boxer. That's anyone would.
Nobody was saying that before the fight. They were saying he was going to knock out Bivol.
Right. That's because of the aura around Canelo. But if you look at it, my opinion of the fight had changed massively. As I studied Bivol more, I realized that this is Canelo's playing with fire now. But what I'm saying is Canelo. Of course, people are gonna say, you know, Canelo's gonna win because of the aura that he has around him. But the point is that people that study the sport understand that Bivol was a legitimate fighter. But the point I'm trying to make is, I don't think you can criticize Canelo in the sense that and say, well, he's not improved much because he's been beat by someone. Rare breed, there's no such thing as an invincible fighter. Floyd Mayweather wasn't invincible. He just didn't fight. He didn't fight when he fought, what's his name? Castillo. You can argue that he lost that fight. Mayweather had a lot of close shaves in a lot of his fights. Mayweather's arguably better than Canelo. So the point I'm trying to make is that
he's never been dominated.
No, but been dominated in what sense?
12, basically a 12-round washout.
But again, Mayweather never fought anybody like Bivol, who was 20-something pounds bigger than him and 6 inches.
Canelo on fight night when he fought Mayweather was 20 pounds heavier than him.
Okay, no, but was he 6 inches taller than him?
No, but that wasn't really the reason why he lost. It wasn't the size; it was the skill gap.
So you don't think?
Usually in the history of boxing, if you're gonna give up size like that, you better be the more skilled guy. And Canelo isn't, so he had no way of winning that fight
Uh,
unless he
uh,
got a robbery.
are you telling me Bivol's height and size played no part in that fight?
Oh no, of course he did. But you add that he's better skill wise, the Canelo didn't have a chance. I'm saying if they were similar size, Bivol would still beat him because Canelo to me is not a better fighter than Bivol. I really
Look,
believe that.
when someone's so much bigger than you and so much taller than you, how can we say how can we determine that? It's like a lot of
You know,
Bivol's advantages. A
yeah.
lot of advantages are because of his height and reach. He
You
kept the
know,
fight.
I low key think this is why Canelo took this fight in the first place. What you're saying right now, he knew that just in case he lost, he would
Yeah.
have the size excuse. There wouldn't be that excuse with Charlo or Benavidez at 168 if he lost to those guys. He would just have lost. But losing to Bivol, it's a win-win because Canelo, he dared to be great, blah blah blah. Man, the dude lost and he got his ass whooped. I don't want to hear it. There's no consolation prize, nothing.
Everybody in
And
the chat talking about he's a hater and all this stuff. Y'all got to
Yeah,
come
well, of
join the
course,
stream
it's
if you
majority
want to say
Canelo fans
something.
on the chat.
Come join the stream then. Why everybody
Right.
in the chat
yeah,
with it?
Don't hide
you
in the
know,
comment section. Come on the panel and get this smoke.
Yeah.
yeah, they always do that.
If you I'm gonna put the link in. Come on the panel, man. I want to see more
Yeah,
people kind of give their opinion.
get
But
on,
I
get
do
on,
agree.
get on.
It's not about look. It's the thing is right. He did get beat. He did get beat. I'll give you that. He did get beat in the fight. But the point is that he
It's
took on
smart.
the challenge, man. That was a very hard fight against a very good fighter.
Yeah.
Listen,
And by the way, Benavidez is bigger than Canelo as well. So people were
Benavidez,
telling me that he would knock out Benavidez.
Benavidez
He has some of those same advantages on Canelo that
Yeah,
Bivol
but
has.
Benavidez don't
because
have
he
the
can't
skills
box
of
like that.
Bivol. You can't tell me Benavidez has the same skills as Bivol. Surely
But
not,
if you
right?
watch Canelo recently, his punch output or volume has gone down drastically. Benavidez, one thing that he's a high volume puncher. He's got faster hands than Canelo, and he hits hard. And he
Benavidez is very
Box-
open to the body all the
it's
time. And
boxing
Canelo,
match,
he is a strong guy. You know, he's a very different. You know,
boxing
Bivol, he had to be on his feet, use his distance. You know, Benavidez don't fight like that. He literally walks into punches.
Well,
Canelo,
I'll tell you one thing: Canelo better not do that shit where he stands on the ropes and waits for Bivol to initiate offense against Benavidez. I
Well,
promise
yeah,
you, that's not
of
gonna
course
work.
not. Well, I don't think he would do that because that's what Benavidez is the best at.
Yeah.
I'd still say,
Definitely not going to do that.
still confident. Canelo beats everyone at 168. I'm willing to say, I'm still confident. Actually, he doesn't, in my opinion, the rematch with Bivol, he'll lose that because Bivol's just too good. I don't think he can beat Bivol. But Bivol smokes anybody. He beats Andrade, he beats Charlo, he beats Benavidez, and beats them easy. I don't want to hear any rubbish about
Well,
those guys. Those guys wouldn't go near him.
no, he's not. No, let me tell you something. Charlo, yeah, obviously he's a middleweight, but Benavidez gives
Charlo's bigger.
Benavidez gives Bivol a lot harder fight than Canelo. I promise you. I'll put $1 million on that if I had $1
Yeah,
million, but I would put a lot of money on that because Benavidez' punch output, like he just would. I'm telling you, it would be a lot harder fight because he wouldn't even have that size gap on Benavidez.
The thing is,
And
though, obviously, you're talking about Benavidez's punch output. When you've got, someone like Bivol who actually he does have power in his punches. He's constantly on you with his jab and everything. He's ready to counter you and all that. Benavidez isn't just going to be, throwing non-stop punches at him because Benavidez is only like that when he doesn't respect your power.
you know they
Bivol can
sparred
punch.
like for this Canelo fight, right?
Yeah,
And I've heard rumors that Benavidez was getting the best of him. Now it's just sparring, so it's not the end all. But I promise you, it would be a more competitive fight because Benavidez, let's be honest, he's not a true 168 pounder. He's a 175 pounder.
No, that's true. Imran, do y'all think, and Masai, because y'all obviously are the Canelo fans, I know we gotta get our other guy in here, but do y'all think that Benavidez is better than Callum Smith, Billy Joe, and Caleb Plant? Do y'all think Benavidez is better
I
than him?
think he's better than him. Yeah.
I think yeah. I think Caleb Plant can give Benavidez hell though.
I think Benavidez would smash Plant. Plant's just got
Yeah.
Plant's got no power, man.
Emron, you
Okay.
probably hit harder than
His
Caleb
gas
Plant.
tank, his gas tank is terrible
Wait,
as
so
well.
No,
but if
Caleb
that's
Plant's skillful though, man. Caleb Plant can
He's
box.
skillful, but he's not Floyd Mayweather. He's not gonna go 12 rounds untouched. He's gonna get to him eventually and get him out of there.
yeah. But this is the thing though. This is what I'm saying. If that's the case, then guys, and Caleb Plant took Canelo 11 rounds, then how are y'all saying that like Benavidez is for sure gonna get knocked out? Like that's kind of the issue I've been having.
Technically not great, man. Benavidez is. I'm
But
not
he's
impressed.
I
I'm
don't
not
think
impressed.
I actually don't think I
I
say
don't know. I don't know.
Canelo knocks
Who's he,
Benavidez out.
who's he
okay.
for me to be impressed? He's not fought no one. Like
Caleb
Bivol had fought
Truax,
a lot of good guys.
Caleb Plant won
Fought
12
some
rounds with
massive
Caleb Truax. Come
Hey?
on, bro.
Who?
So Caleb Truax.
Who said who? Sorry, who?
Caleb
Caleb
Plant.
Plant, you mean?
Yeah, he won
No,
12
but
rounds with Caleb Truax, and he
Plant's
didn't even
more
look good.
No. Caleb Plant's more technically sound. He's more of a pure boxer. So he's going to be like against anyone. He's going to give them trouble. He's a pure boxer. Benavidez isn't a pure boxer. He's just got fast hands and he's got pretty slow feet. So this is what
You
I'm
know
trying
what?
to say. He's not the greatest boxer in the world. He's not technically sound.
Yeah,
You know what they say? Pressure busts pipes.
The only thing I don't understand
Yeah,
what
but
you're
that
saying.
pressure is no good when you're slow, when you got slow feet. Golovkin, for example, is pressure, but Golovkin's got fast feet. He comes to you and closes all the avenues where you can't breathe. Benavidez ain't like that. Benavidez throws combinations from a distance, but it's gonna be difficult for him to land on Canelo because he's so slow.
Who's that guy
Eh,
that
eh,
Caleb Plant beat for his title? Uzcategui?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you know anything about Caleb Plant and all his fights, he starts out really good, even in the Canelo fight. But towards the later round, like the second half of the fights, he starts to wear down, and these guys start hurting him.
Mm-hmm.
Uzcategui hurt him in the second half of the fight, and Canelo finished him. It's going to be the same exact way with Benavidez.
Yeah, he's gonna gas out, and he doesn't have he has that slick style, but his defense is really flawed, and he gets on the ropes
Yeah,
and tries to Philly shell and just gets
and
smacked.
if I
he's
can,
horrible to
and
Philly shell.
The
He always
Canelo,
get caught.
yeah, the
Go on.
Canelo
if I can
Benavidez
just say,
fight.
if I can just say, and that's why I think boxing needs to make these fights happen. That's why boxing needs to make these fights happen, and I hate that people and these boxers are hiding behind who have you fought and you didn't fight nobody. I'm sorry, I don't like that excuse, because if no one's going to give you an opportunity to fight anyone, then you're never going to get that recognition, right?
Yep.
So you're saying you haven't fought anyone. Okay, I'll fight you. No, you've never fought anyone. So then the guy is going to be like Dmitry Andrade, who's just sitting on the shelf because no one wants to fight him because he hasn't fought anyone. It's like a secular,
It's an excuse.
it's like a loop, right? It's like an infinite loop. You haven't fought anyone, so no one wants to fight you. No one wants to fight you because you haven't fought anyone. So
Yeah,
all guys, Plant, Benavidez, Andrade, all these guys have to start fighting one another so we can see the fights that the fans want,
But
so we don't have to start speculating about these things.
Claude, I agree with you. But can we stop putting the pressure on Canelo now to keep fighting every single one of these? He's just fought Bivol now, right? He's just fought a hard, tough fight. So isn't it the responsibility of other fighters now to start taking responsibility and giving fight fans good fights?
100%.
Well,
Canelo
100%.
Benavidez is trying to fight everybody, but
yeah.
Charlo is obviously scared of him.
He knocked, no, he's
I'm pretty
not.
sure
He
Charlo's scared of
knocked
everyone.
Andrade. His boy priced him out of Andrade. Andrade was like, I'll fight anybody. Eddie Hearn came out and said no one wants to fight Andrade. No one wants
That's
to
true.
fight
Of course he's
Andrade.
gonna say that. Of course he's gonna say he was promoting him.
Yeah, but it
Well, I
seems
will
like
say
it's
something about
everyone
Andre.
knows that no one wants
He
to
is
fight
a difficult
Andrade.
style to fight.
Come on. Nobody wants to fight Andrade. I'm not making this up, bro.
Look, Andre just ducked
Looking
Janabek.
to fight
Andre's done.
anybody.
Andre, right?
he
Listen,
didn't duck
right,
Janabek, man. Eddie
right.
Hearn said he's
Guys,
not. Eddie Hearn said he's not paying for that.
guys, let me
Well,
one second.
fighting Janet Beck is the equivalent of Canelo fighting David Morrell. That's dangerous.
Yeah, guys, one
Like,
sec. Get Jim in there because Jim's a Canelo fan. Jim, what's going on? Jim, you there?
Oh, that's the
Jim?
guy who Valdez to beat Shakur Stevenson.
Oh boy.
Is that
Jim?
Jimbo?
No, Jim. He's not. He never. I don't think he picked. He didn't pick. Jim?
Oh, okay, that's a different Jim.
No, Jim. You there? I don't know. He's having some issues anyway. But yeah. Carry on. What were we talking about? What were you talking
No,
about?
what
So
I was saying,
I'm pretty sure we're
I
talking
think
about
Go.
Andrade.
Andrade has been hard done by. I think Andrade really needs to. I just want to see if he's good. I'm not much of a fan of Andrade, as I just want to see him versus a Caleb Plant, versus a Benavidez. Doesn't have to be Canelo, but someone big, just to see how good he is or if he's not. Bivol got his opportunity and he knocked it out of the park. He hit a grand slam with his opportunity versus Canelo. And kudos to him, but we didn't know he was that good until he got the opportunity. And that's what I want to see for every fighter, but especially like Benavidez and Andrade. I need someone to pick them, or I want someone to pick them to see how great they are or they are not. What do you
Yeah,
think about that?
If
Caleb
Andrade has a
would
chin,
never.
let me say, if Andrade has a chin, I can definitely see him outboxing Canelo at 168.
The guy got rocked by Liam Williams like twice. He definitely
That's
isn't.
why I'm saying that. Yeah, that's why I'm saying that. I don't think he has a chin,
I
so
don't think
Canelo
he
could
does.
probably knock him out. But if he does, like if he's able to survive the onslaught of Canelo, I can see him outboxing him.
With
I
Andrade, he's
Andrade outboxing Canelo for a couple of rounds, and then
He's
I
got
just
power. He has underrated power.
who?
yeah.
Andrade, he has
Yeah.
underrated power.
Yeah, but he's not gonna knock out Canelo, is he?
No, but I'm saying he has power to keep Canelo's respect. He's not just going to run through him like Caleb Plant. Canelo had no respect for him.
But I think
Andrade digresses like very highly after 6 rounds.
I think
Yeah.
Canelo will gas him. I do, unless he show durability like Bivol, which I just like I said, I think Bivol's a better fighter. I think Bivol's a better fighter than these guys. I do. I don't think there's anybody at 168 or 160 better than Bivol. I don't. Bivol might be
Benavidez.
Yeah, but Imran,
Man, you really rate Benavidez.
Yes,
he
bro.
does.
I really think Benavidez could give Bivol trouble.
So
I
this is the thing.
saw Craig Richards get him on the ropes and do something. So I know Benavidez can do that.
So, but this is my thing though, Imran. I got a question for you. So if Bivol dominated Canelo, it wasn't like it was a close fight. He dominated Canelo, right? Yeah. Okay, then that means that a fighter like a Benavidez or somebody or Andrade, it's not that they're gonna be able to dominate Canelo like Bivol did. So you're saying they're not as good as Bivol, but it should be it could be a close fight. I feel like this gives this like it could be a close fight.
I get what you're saying, but styles make fights at world level. So we don't know. We don't know. Just because Bivol did well against Canelo, that Andrade is going to do well against Canelo. Who knows? Maybe if Caleb Plant went in against Bivol, he might do better than Canelo did.
Well, you know that term, there's more than one way to skin a cat?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So on that point, what do you think, Rare Breed? Do you think Caleb Plant could do better against Bivol than Canelo did?
No, I don't rate Caleb Plant like that. I don't even consider him. That's
It
old
went
news. We're talking about Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez, and Demetrius Andrade.
No,
and another guy, but there's another guy I think could beat Canelo, but he's never going to fight him. It's David Morrell. But forget him. Those three guys. Go ahead.
He's an up and comer. I'm saying David Morrell's not really. He's not at the top yet. I'm talking about Jamal Charlo. Guys at the top, so they make more sense. Not fighting a Morrell. What does that do? It doesn't make sense. But Charlo and Andrade and Benavidez, they're the fights that you want to see him fight if he doesn't rematch Bivol. Do you know what I mean? But I'm okay.
Let's be real. Canelo's style at this point in his career is to bully his opponent, like basically just wear him down with power shots. That's kind of similar to Jamal Charlo's style. So I'm not saying he would beat Canelo, but it'll be a hell of a firefight. It'll be a good fight.
I think that's a good fight.
I really do believe that you're correct. I believe, and I could be wrong, and I'm not a fanboy of Canelo, but I do think Canelo wins all those 3 fights. I really do.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it's a fight worth having because I do think that the others have a chance. But I favor Canelo. You're right, Imran. You're right. I think he has the skill set. I think his power is it's just gonna be too much. Those guys are gonna try to outbox him, but I think they're gonna get through. He's gonna get through, and he's basically gonna wear them down. Bivol, he couldn't do it because Bivol, and I didn't realize it till they stepped into the ring in the first round. The first round, when I saw how big Bivol was and how tall he was, I go, this fight's happening. This is gonna be problems.
What do you think, Claude? What do you guys think? Do you think Canelo is become arrogant in terms of he's just reliant on his power? He just thinks his power.
Yeah, he thought he could bully Bivol.
Yeah.
He thought he thought that he was gonna do Bivol like he did Caleb Plant, and that's what a lot of the predictions. When did he get rid of Caleb Plant? He got rid of him in the 11th round by stoppage. That's what everybody was predicting Canelo was gonna do. That's what everybody predicted that Canelo was gonna do, and that's what Canelo thought too. And then you get in there and you realize this dude is not gonna run from me like Caleb Plant do. This dude's gonna fight me and hit me and come forward. And it's like a whole different, that changes everything.
There's two other guys that would do a similar thing. Charlo and David Benavidez. They're not going to back up. They're going to fight you.
Yeah, they're both good fights.
I think they get knocked
out.
I honestly think they get knocked out.
I think he still wins, but it'll be a good fight. It'll definitely be better than watching him fight Billy Ho Saunders.
Yeah, Billy Joe and Plant. It's just their styles, and they ain't got no power. At least for Charlo and Benavidez. They do have power in it and all that. So, I agree it'll be a good fight. I still favour Canelo in them just because he lost to Bivol. I don't think they beat him still. I obviously, Imran will tell you, I rated Bivol very highly anyway. I was picking him.
Yeah, can you hear me? Charlo has an iron chin. I don't think I've ever seen him hurt.
Yeah, we can hear you, Jim.
Jim, my friend Canelo's, he's a Canelo fan. So go on, Jim. Give your thoughts.
Yeah. So,
go on, Jim.
So,
Jim,
lost for words.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, a lot of things happened yesterday that went into him losing that fight. Number one, I want to talk about the game plan. Like, what?
Go on, Jim. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can. You keep speaking and then you cutting off. Go on, Jim.
Nobody's talking about the game plan. What was the game plan yesterday? Can you?
I don't know what the game plan.
Break him down.
Break him down.
Just wear him out.
Yeah. No, it was a game plan. You're trying to knock out a guy that's 175 pounds. I don't think I saw Canelo throw one jab yesterday. I didn't see any head. I didn't see very little head movement. I think that game plan made any sense at all. You're going in against a big guy like that. How about boxing? There was no boxing. He was loading up on every punch, every single punch.
But Jim, hasn't Canelo been doing that for the last couple of fights?
He has, but he wasn't fighting a guy like Bivol. I mean, you're fighting a big man.
In the Saunders fight, I felt Canelo was boxing pretty well.
And when has Canelo ever been known for being a guy with those great jabs?
Did you see him fight Danny Jacobs? I guess you missed that, huh?
That was a long time ago.
It wasn't a long time ago. He schooled the shit out of Danny Jacobs. Wasn't even close in that fight.
That was a close fight.
I don't know what fight you saw.
That was like I'll say 7-5 at the most.
I feel Canelo's feet have actually gone a lot slower though, because in the Daniel Jacobs fight, he was a lot more quicker on his feet.
I'll tell you what else too.
That was the best.
I think his vegetable diet was a big move. He looked like he was drained. He didn't have any energy. He looked weak.
You say Canelo looked weak?
That's what happens when you're not fighting the Billy Joes of the world.
Oh, that's tough. Imran, I know you don't like that. He said Canelo looked weak last night. You think he looked weak?
Weak? What do you mean by weak?
He said that. Jim said that.
Weak? Like in terms of what sense?
I think it's power, you're saying.
Yeah, Jim was saying that because of this vegan diet, he looked he didn't look right or whatever. But I don't know. I didn't understand why he went vegan in the first place. If he did go vegan, I didn't understand that. But beside the point. Beside the point. I don't. I think Canelo looked flat yesterday. I think Bivol made him look worse, even worse because of his style. But I do agree. I just felt like he was loading up on every shot. I think Canelo needs to be. I think Canelo firstly needs to be throwing more punches, right? He can't be loading up on every shot because that's tiring. If you throw in every
Yeah,
shot as a power punch, you're gonna tire yourself out, right?
but
You
that's what
need to
he's
put.
been doing.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
okay,
no. But
okay,
this is what I
let me
mean.
ask you
It's
this,
wrong. He needs to change up. He needs to change that up.
Imran.
Yeah, go on.
Imran, let me ask you this. Let me
Yeah.
ask you this, and this for anyone, actually, all you guys. I don't think throwing jabs
Mm.
at Bivol either would have been effective. Bivol has a
No,
longer reach. He
Yeah,
has to get
exactly.
in
Yeah.
to get the jab. So he like the matchup was bad. I didn't realize how bad the matchup would be. But guys, I just don't think, and I think Steve, who was on earlier, is right. Put it to bed. He's got to move on from this guy. Style-wise, he is a nightmare of a matchup. And
nightmare.
yesterday proved it. And I think even if he was throwing jabs, wouldn't matter. They wouldn't land because his arms are shorter. just just physics. Like he wouldn't get to him. And that guy's footwork is outstanding.
Mm.
Bivol's footwork is absolutely a masterclass. All right, I
What a great
really like his
fighter. Yeah.
footwork. And Canelo, his footwork was horrible. He has none. Like he had none yesterday.
He's never
And
really had
and
good feet anyway.
and I think all that the Bivol style is not good for him. He would have a better shot of better Beterbiev.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think Beterbiev would be too strong. Meaning, I think he can absorb Canelo's shots, and if they
Mm.
were really close face to face, just dropping bombs, he
Right.
gets slept. I think Canelo
Mm.
gets slept because
Mm.
Beterbiev is way strong. Well, not way, but he is stronger than Bivol. So I think he should just bow out of this category, like the 175. He bit off more than he could chew with this category.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
do you think
I
about that,
don't.
Imran? Because
Mm.
a better BF, he folds 175ers. Like he makes a
Yeah.
man
That
out of a
that
175er.
that's
So
a
going in there with Canelo and doing a trade for
yeah.
war,
That's a
I don't
dangerous.
know,
That's
man.
dangerous, man. I think Beterbiev could sleep Bivol. Do you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
he Beterbiev's a monster. Like you don't want to go. You like Beterbiev can fold. Like man. That's. I remember. I remember Christian said. I don't know if you remember Mackay. Christian said that Andrade would beat Beterbiev,
Yeah, Christian
and I
comes up with nonsense. I don't even
and
bother
I was like,
listening
I'm
to him.
sorry. I'm sorry. I don't even know. I don't even think Canelo could beat Beterbiev, to be honest. Um, yeah, I don't. I don't think that's a good fight for Canelo. On yesterday's performance, if Beterbiev was to fight, Canelo, it might not end well. Canelo might get put out in that fight. I don't like that
Yeah,
fight, to be honest.
yeah, absolutely.
Canelo. I think Canelo probably should be going down to 168, but Claude, I don't think he is. I don't think he will because I think Canelo's been hurt here. His pride has been hurt, and he's going to want to come back against Dmitry Bivol. You know,
Do y'all think he
that's what I
can
think.
go? Y'all think he can go if Canelo? Do you think that in the rematch Canelo can look better and get a robbery?
Yes, yeah, no, right. I mean, the first fight, 115, 113. So Bivol had to win the 12th round basically. If Canelo just does a little bit better, wins a couple more rounds, he would literally get it. Obviously, it'll be very controversial. In the actual ring, we would know Bivol won the fight, but Canelo could get the decision, seeing how close it was in the first
But
fight
but
when I
but
only gave
Makai,
Canelo
could
like two
Canelo
rounds.
legitimately win?
No,
Could
absolutely
Canelo
not.
legitimately win?
No, no,
No,
never,
I don't think
never.
so.
I can bet my house on that.
Like you said, Imran, the biggest thing for me is his stamina.
Mm,
If you don't have stamina to go 12 rounds boxing with Bivol, then
mm.
I don't think you can beat him. If you gas out and you just start blocking, his defense is too good. At that point, if you're not going to be able to throw shots at him, you know what I'm saying, and box with him, he's just going to start hitting you. And he's accurate. He has a long reach. He's strong. It's just going to be. Not good.
Yeah,
Not
yeah, I think 175. These guys are big and strong, and they're good, man. They're really
Yeah,
good. Fight.
yeah, man. I don't want Canelo to take a rematch. I want him to stay down at 168, so we get Bivol versus the winner of Beterbiev Smith. Obviously, I feel Beterbiev will win because if it's Smith, I mean, it will be undisputed still. But I mean, we already saw what Bivol done to Joe Smith Jr., so it wouldn't be as exciting. But you know, the Bivol Beterbiev fight that really excites me. That's the fight I want. Canelo should just leave the rematch, but he probably won't.
Here's the thing. Eric makes a good point. If Canelo beats Bivol in the rematch, what does that do for Canelo's legacy?
legitimately, if he beats him,
Yeah, legitimately beats him.
man. I mean, I think that's everything. I think you had kind of talked about it in one of your videos too. You were like,
Yeah,
if a fighter loses and then they go back into the lab and then come back better and then beat the fighter that beat them, that's huge for your legacy, man. That's a plus. That's the grind, and I
Plus,
think boxing fans will
what,
appreciate
D
it.
Money? The way Canelo's lost this fight, if he was to come back and legitimately beat him or stop Bivol, just say he stops him or he beats him on points legitimately and actually wins the fight. Oh my goodness! Imagine how
That'd
much
be
bigger
crazy.
Canelo would be.
It'd be all the like star power, I guess, or I don't know, all the whatever he lost in this fight would be like double
Yo,
if
yeah,
he beat
yeah.
Bivol in the rematch and outboxed him, just dominated him and beat him. It'd be crazy.
Because there's no one that sees it. You see, now Canelo would be a massive underdog going into that fight.
Yeah. You think massive? I don't know about massive.
Yeah, well, I would say massive. I can't see him beating him.
Yeah, I don't know
How,
about the
how does
odds
Canelo win
makers
that
making
fight?
that. Yeah,
Eh?
yeah. I just don't know about the odds making this. I didn't think he should have been Bivol should have been a 4-1 underdog. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. Like I
Five to
don't.
one underdog.
Yeah, was it 5-1?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh man, yeah. So that's why I feel like the odds makers just I think that's a little off. So
When you're
that's why.
fighting, but here's the thing though, they made Joshua a massive favorite against Usyk,
Mhm.
and when you
But
think
and,
about that, that looks terrible. Do you know what I mean?
now that you look at it, but I thought, did you think Joshua, like, how'd you see that? You thought that was going to be
I
close or
thought
what?
Usyk would beat him. Yeah, I said from the start, I said Usyk would beat him.
Yeah, so did I, man. I think it was just
Yeah,
only me and you, wasn't it? We was
yeah.
literally arguing with everyone.
We were getting laughed at, and all sorts. People were
Yeah,
saying, "Oh no, Joshua's going to be too big." I said all along that Usyk would beat him,
yeah.
and he schooled him.
Mhm.
To be fair, he did. He battered him. So yeah,
Hurt him, everything, man.
I'm Bivol for me might be the best 175. I think. Does he beat Beterbiev, guys?
No.
It's close, man. When I saw Beterbiev beat Gazdic out, when I watched that fight, I was like, okay, this guy could give Bivol a lot of problems because he can box, he can move his head, he can block, he can counter, and then he's just gonna keep. And even if you catch him, he's just gonna keep coming forward until he gets to you, and he's gonna.
You're the first person I've ever heard actually give Beterbiev credit for his actual boxing skills. You know, a lot of people seem to think he's just a guy who just comes forward, walking through punches. That's what they always seem to think. Wasn't it Christian Imran that just said that as well about Beterbiev?
Yeah, I
He's
think he
just a
said
guy. He
about
just.
Golovkin more. I mean, he said that about Golovkin.
Was it about Golovkin?
Yeah, he hadn't really seen much of Beterbiev, to be honest. He said,
Yeah, so that's gonna be a 50-50. But I wanted to ask y'all this too, and this is I feel like every Canelo hater, this is like their main issue, is
mm.
that Canelo said, that he's unbeatable, right? This was, when is this? February 25th. He says he's unbeatable, and it says on the Athletic, it says the boxing insiders agree, and it says that he thinks he could even beat Usyk, right? And so the issue, so that's what he says. And like you said, you were kind of mentioning, Imran, there's this aura around Canelo that some people like actually like were even thinking that and saying that, like and I think you kind of said it too, like at this point, and Salman too, like at this point, Canelo just can't be beat. He's just in his prime. He's on another level. He just can't be beat. And so the issue is like, for us, and I'm not a Canelo hater, I'm a realist, but for us, it's like Canelo's beating guys. He'll have that aura, and then he'll have a bunch of fantasy matches. And the fantasy matches, against guys that can actually beat him, that are on that level. All the Canelo fans that he has, they all say that Canelo, oh yeah, he beats Andrade easy, he beats Charlo easy, he's gonna knock out Bivol. But then the only thing that you actually have to see it with Canelo is that he's beating B-level competition, or guys that are not on that level. And then you guys use that as evidence to, like, yeah, you see how great he is. You see how great he is. He would easily beat Benavidez. He beat Bivol. He beat these guys that we say no, it would actually be close. And then when he actually fights one of these guys, then he loses, and he loses convincingly. And then so it's like, why does Canelo keep getting all of this? That's why we say he's like overhyped.
Can
No, no.
I add
Here's
to
the
the
thing.
point there? Can I add to the point? Let me add to the point.
Go on.
And then on top of that, the judges are on Canelo's side too. On top of that, then you got the judges. So all of what this he just mentioned there, and then you got the judges who are basically on Canelo's side too. So it's very difficult for a boxer to actually overcome all of that and win it. And that's why I give Bivol that much credit, because he overcame all of that to beat this guy. Now he was the bigger man, and we all know that. But like he mentioned, yeah, I totally agree with what he mentioned. And then you put the judges on top of that. And I don't think it's fair, but that's boxing. And I want to say one more thing. Imran, if Canelo does not take the fight with Bivol in a rematch, who do you want to see him fight? Who would you like to see him go after if he decides not to? And that's open to everyone.
For me, I would like, if it's not Bivol, I would like it to be Charlo. Charlo. I want to see him fight Charlo next.
So, are you still going to say something?
Yeah, you guys can go. Like, who do you guys want to see?
I'd probably pick Benavidez, because I feel it'll be the best time for Canelo to fight someone like Benavidez, because Benavidez, he's just going to get better and better. So if you're Canelo, you'd really want to get him now, if you know what I mean. Charlo, he can, if that guy fights once a year and it's against nobody, that guy doesn't deserve nothing.
Yeah, I think he should fight I would want him to fight Triple G. I think Triple G, he could use Triple G as a chance to kind of prepare if he wanted to go at a 175, or just a chance to change the way his style, sort of like you were saying, Imran, to change his style. He has to change, if he's going.
That's not an easy fight. A lot of you guys were saying, I don't know if you were saying it, D-Money. A lot of you guys were saying and shooting me down when I was saying that Golovkin would be a tough fight for Canelo. Now everybody's changed their opinion. Like, still people think, but now people have changed their mind after seeing the Bivol fight that actually Golovkin might still be a very tough fight for Canelo.
I don't believe that.
I thought after seeing what Golovkin did for Murat, I thought Golovkin was going to give Canelo absolute hell in the trilogy. That's what I thought.
I will be shocked, honestly, and I'm not a Canelo fanboy at all. I will be shocked if Triple G wins, and I know he got robbed the first one. I'm the first one to say that. But in this trilogy, if it does go down and Canelo loses, I'll be shocked. Canelo is gonna come out. Canelo's next fight, he's winning. Like, if it's not against Bivol, he's winning. If it's against a 168 or like a catchweight with or with someone with like a Triple G, he's winning. Like, he is not gonna, and he's gonna win convincingly. Like, he's gonna win convincingly because this was an embarrassment. Like even my wife, I told you guys, she's from Mexico. She loves Canelo to death, and she was literally, I can see it on her face, distraught looking at Canelo getting thumped against the ropes. Canelo's gonna want to make up for that, so I believe he's gonna take the Triple G fight if he doesn't fight Bivol, and he's gonna destroy him. I don't think Triple G will have a chance.
Imran, you think Triple G can take the shots that he was taking against Murata? You think he could take those same shots against Canelo?
Triple G, one of the toughest men I've ever seen in boxing, and not just that. A lot of you felt like he was getting hurt against Murata. He wasn't getting hurt against Murata. Triple G just always does that. Go watch all his previous fights where Triple G blows his cheeks out like that, and it looks like he's hurt. He's never hurt. He's
Yeah,
never hurt. He was never hurt against Murata. It looked like he was hurt.
and
You
that
know,
was only
and
like
now he's
those.
coming back.
Yeah, that was
I'm
only
telling you,
those.
man, that's a tough fight. GGG is a tough fight for Canelo because it's just a style. It's a horrible style. He comes forward. He dictates the pace. Canelo don't like that sort of style. I'm telling you, Golovkin's not an easy fight for anybody. For
So
anybody, Golovkin's not an easy
Hey,
fight for
if
Andre.
so which one's a
Canelo
tougher
takes
fight,
the
Imran? Which one's a tougher fight? The Triple G or a Benavidez or an Andre? Which one's the out of all those three guys? Let's say Triple G.
Going off. What are we going off? Like, what are we going off? Like, you saying now or like who's stylistic going off?
I'm talking about generally speaking.
Yeah.
You pick one. You pick one of those 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah.
You know which one is the most problematic for and toughest for Canelo.
I don't know. I think they all bring their challenges, but I think if you're asking me stylistically, who's more dangerous, I would have to say Golovkin. Golovkin's proven that he's troubles Canelo. I think he beat him the first time, so I don't think Andrade and Benavidez beat Canelo. So I think Golovkin is a dangerous fight. This is what I'm saying. I think Golovkin can beat Charlo. I think could beat Andrade. I think he could beat Benavidez. I don't know why people are making out like
He would
can't beat those guys.
definitely beat Andrade. I don't know why people think Andrade's going to
Oh,
score.
are you
Honestly,
serious?
well,
honestly,
Imran, if that's
guys,
true,
please
if that's
stop
true,
with the
Imran,
Andrade thing.
yeah. So if that's true, then if Canelo takes the rematch with Bivol, then Triple G should have no trouble fighting Andrade. I mean Charlo for the other belt.
I'm endorsing that fight. I was actually going to make a video about that fight tomorrow. I was actually going to
Yeah.
make a video about that fight. That I actually, if Canelo takes the rematch against Bivol, I want to see Andrade and Golovkin. I want to see
Look,
that fight. Now,
Wait a
by
minute.
Triple G's actions,
Didn't
by
Andre
Triple
move
G's
up there?
actions, you could tell he's done. He does not want to fight Andrade or Charlo. He wants to fight Canelo so he can retire.
Right. I'm sorry. I need to say something here. Right. So, why are you saying that about Golovkin? Is it about his last fight with Murata? Right? Is that it?
No, Wolf. Not only he didn't look good against Murata, he didn't look good against Derenchenko. I thought he lost that fight.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a bad
Okay.
fight.
Right. That's right. So you're saying that, and wait.
I think
Did you see
Charlo
how
will stop Triple G
did you
right
see
now.
how Andrade looked against Williams? See how Charlo looked against Montiel? Like they
Well,
look terrible. Like you can't just pick because Golovkin,
that's
Murata,
true.
Derenchenko, they're good fighters.
Charlo's not
I think
looked good.
Montiel was on the juice.
Oh come
Because
on!
Charlo was hitting him with everything. This guy
Right,
just wouldn't go down.
see what? Now you're just making up something so it fits your narrative. Come on, you can't just say
Hey,
that.
okay, see, look, that Montiel fight, that was different. Charlo literally won every round, but Montiel did hurt him like 2 times. So
The
shit
guy
happened.
literally got rocked.
So
He literally had a
Golovkin,
war with him.
No, the thing about Montiel though is he
Montiel
has
got
24.
flatlined by
He has 2
Magneto.
losses, but he has 24 wins with 23 knockouts. That's like a 95% knockout ratio. Like he has power.
rare breed. Like
Oh come on,
Yeah.
man.
he's not
I'm just
Golovkin.
saying.
Come on,
Yeah, stop it,
Montiel's
man.
not. You know that.
No, he's
Even
not.
Fury-
But like you got to respect a knockout ratio like that. Like even if it's not great fighters that he's knocking out, you don't have a knockout ratio like that if you don't have some kind of power.
The guy is not a good fighter, and Charlo had a hard fight with him. Like you can't just say you think Golovkin's done because he had a tough fight with
Hey,
Murata.
every fighter
He
has
done
that
good at
one
the
guy on their
start.
resume that gives him a hard fight you weren't expecting.
He done good at the start, yeah. But Golovkin started smashing Murata. Yeah, the Derenchenko fight that was close and everything. Although Derenchenko,
Okay, can you
he was
if we
cheating
can
a
say
lot.
if we can use that triangle theory, Charlo looked a lot better against Derenchenko than Triple G did.
True.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
he did.
That was right.
Yeah, he did. To be fair, yeah, he did. He did.
So keep that same energy, my friend.
No, but the thing is,
Wait, what?
I don't believe in triangle theories anyway. The
Me
styles
either.
make fight. The styles
Exactly.
make
So wait, did you say I'm using triangle theories? That makes no sense because you said Golovkin, yeah. You think he's done because he had a tough fight with Derenchenko and Murata, and then I just simply
No,
go about
I'm
Charlo.
saying Triple
Let me
G
talk.
by his actions.
Let me talk. Yeah, and then I just pointed out Charlo had a tough fight with Montiel and Andrade had a tough fight with Williams, and now you're bringing up triangle theories. It had nothing to do with it.
Well, that's not why I think.
That had
That's
nothing
not
to do
why I
with it.
think. No, I think Triple G is done not because he had a tough fight with Derenchenko. I think he's done by his actions. He does not want to fight anybody but Canelo. Why is that? Because he wants to retire.
What? So you don't think? So you think he's ducking guys like Charlo and Andrade?
Man,
Yes.
I want to know
I'll
it
say
for a
yes.
fact.
I'll say
Andrade,
yes.
Andrade wanted
I
that
have to
fight,
pipe
man,
up and
and they're
say
on the
yes.
same promotional team. There's
Um,
no way
Yes.
Is there any proof of Golovkin turning those fights down, or is that just what you guys think?
No, but
Man,
I'm
he
just
just wants
saying,
those
Okay,
he's
fights,
hold
in
on,
the
hold
bro.
on.
same thing with
He doesn't even
Dmitry.
mention
Okay.
their names.
So
If he
it's what you guys think.
no, if he wanted to go, if
Okay.
Golovkin wanted to go
But
for
like,
undisputed, then he
if
would
it
have fought
smells like a
Andrade.
duck and it walks like a duck and it looks like a duck, it's a duck. Andrade purposely went with Eddie Hearn because he knew who was on that platform. He knew
Right.
that he has good relationships with Canelo. He knew, and he wants that smoke. He wants those fights. So obviously, why wouldn't Eddie Hearn go up to Triple G and say, "Hey, look, I got Andre. He needs a fight. Do you want to do it?" I mean,
Has Andrade's team
we'd have to be
reached
silly
out to
not to think
Golovkin?
that conversation didn't happen. It
Has
had to
Andre's
happen.
Right? Has Andre's team reached out to Golovkin? Tell me
Masai,
yes or
Wait,
no.
why
no,
would the challenger? Well, he's not really a challenger,
Well,
but
he's got
why
belt,
would
mate.
the lower profile guy be ducking the higher profile guy? That doesn't make any sense.
What?
Because you literally will get paid more than you've ever been paid in your whole career to fight a guy like Triple G
Andrade
or
and Charlo,
Canelo.
they're clearly right. Yes, if they get the option, they will fuck. They would fuck Golovkin. They're clearly not in a rush. I mean, right, we're talking about Charlo here, a guy who's literally ducking everyone. Andrade, a guy who's also ducked a lot of fights. I don't get where this whole, he's avoided. The guy literally avoided Lara. He actually avoided Derevinchenko. He pulled out of that fight. He pulled out the Jamal Charlo fight. What else? He ducked Yanabek. Like this
Well, I
guy,
won't argue
he
those.
avoids fighters too.
Masai, I'm not gonna get into that with you again, but you got to realize, like Eddie Hearn, who's Andrade's promoter and Golovkin's promoter, has come out and said, I cannot get Andrade these big fights, which means that he has tried. Unless Eddie Hearn's just lying and he's just spitting gas. He says he
Right.
pays Andrade a lot of money. So I think he would have tried, but he said I've tried, but I just can't get him these fights. So that means that he must have, with Golovkin being in the division, like he must have tried and asked, Golovkin's team, maybe not Golovkin himself, but maybe his team, and his team was just like, nah, because Andrade is high risk, low reward. If you lose to Andrade, if Golovkin loses to Andrade, that is a huge blow on his resume, because people like you, Masai, and others, and Canelo called him a horrible fighter and says he's trash. So if
Facts.
he loses to him, then it's gonna be
Correct.
like, oh my
You lost to a
god.
horrible fighter.
Exactly. So
Right.
no one wants to risk it, because after Canelo said that, you're exactly right. After Canelo said that,
I think these guys think Andrade's a bum
move.
or something.
Guys,
The
let, let,
Guys, Andrade isn't even that good. The guy literally struggled with Liam Williams.
He's
He struggled
30
with
and
Liam
old.
Williams.
no, guys, let me
He
say something
dominated that fight.
about,
Who's his best opponent?
about
Hey,
His best
let
opponent.
him run go. Let him run go.
Okay, man, yeah, you talk.
Andrade is a good fighter. I'm gonna say something controversial. Andrade is a good fighter. He's unfortunately he hasn't got the big fights, but controversial. I think Andrade might be done. You know what I mean? I think he's inactive. He's getting injured. He's 35 years of age.
He's digressed.
He may be done, right? So the problem is with Andrade now, if he gets a big fight and he gets absolutely smoked, his career, people are going to say he was overrated and he was terrible, even though he wasn't. And I mentioned this in the video. Andrade is going to, if Andrade gets beat when he gets a big fight, which I hope he gets, and he gets beat, his legacy is going to be, he fought a load of cherries for majority of his career, and then when he finally stepped up against a real fighter, he got beat. And that might
Andrade's horrible. He's horrible.
That might be
Masai,
Andrade.
come on, calling
he's
him
not.
horrible fighter, man. Come on, Masai.
Guys, I actually think Andrade would have beaten a lot of guys. I do. I genuinely rated Andrade.
I think he can beat Canelo.
I picked him to beat Billy Joe. I picked him to beat Benavidez. I picked him to beat all these guys. But he's 35. Let's be realistic. He's 35 years of age. He's not young anymore, and he's inactive.
What do you guys say if Andrade
That's
beats
the reason why Imran. That's why I don't get why Triple G won't take the fight. That's why I don't understand why that fight can't be made. He's 40 years old.
Triple G's also.
Risky.
That's why he's also an old man, and he's looking for a payday now as well. He's looking.
Oh, so I was right.
Why are you guys blaming Golovkin? Why are you guys just blaming Golovkin? I mean, right, you're saying
Because
Golovkin's
Golovkin's
not
best
trying
win
to
is
fight him.
literally fucking Danny
Andrade,
Jacobs.
what's Andrade doing? Andrade's literally not
No,
trying to
no,
fight
but
Golovkin. He's not.
best
It's
win
not
should
like he's reaching
Canelo.
out to him or anything. He's just talking.
Triple G is
That's all he
overrated,
does.
bro. Let
No,
me say that Triple G
Canelo.
is a great fighter, all time great. But like for what people thought he was early in his career to what he really is, he's overrated.
No, but Rare Breed, Triple G's best win should be Canelo.
yeah,
Let's
it
get
is Canelo.
Yeah,
It is.
should
It
be.
is.
But that guy's overrated too.
And this Daniel Jacobs, by the way,
no, but
was
who else could he have fought though? But Rare Breed, who else
Hmm?
could he have fought? If okay, just say he had fought Andrade and beat him, right? Would that enhance Golovkin's legacy where people would say, well, Golovkin's not overrated now because he beat Andrade? They'll say
Andrade, a guy who
I'm
literally
saying he's
fought no one.
overrated because before, when Triple G was coming up and he was knocking everybody out, people were saying, "Oh my God, this guy's gonna knock out everybody. Nobody wants to fight this guy." And then he fought Kell Brook. He looked a little bit human in that fight. He beat up a welterweight. Good for him. Then he fought Danny Jacobs. You take away that knockdown, you can make an argument Danny Jacobs won that fight.
Yeah, you're
And I
crazy
think,
for saying that.
I'm just saying, and a lot of people believe that, by the way. And after that Danny Jacobs fight, all of a sudden, I think Canelo's like, you know what? This guy is not as scary as I thought it was. Let me fight him now.
But you're
Yeah.
giving Golovkin crap for not knocking out a good fighter. Like that's not supposed to happen. They're good fighters for a reason.
It's not
Like,
his fault, but his fanboys thought he was going to destroy everybody.
I feel you're holding Golovkin to a bit of a high standard, if you know what I mean. Like he's fighting good fighters.
Well,
He's not going to knock everyone out. Like,
well, I'm sorry, but his fanboys put him to that standard. He was going to destroy everybody, like Mike Tyson or something.
You was talking about Charlo's power earlier. Like when Montiel, Adams, guys that are a lot smaller, and he couldn't even knock them out. At least when Golovkin fights these fights that aren't really that good, he's destroying them and he's getting them out there early. Like the guy does have power. It's not overrated.
But Masai, let me correct something because I see Ignacio in the chat. If I can, Imran, I just want to correct something. And Masai, you keep on saying that too. That Andrade ducked Janabek. Andrade is 34 years old, right, Imran? He's 34.
Right.
He's getting older. He's getting injured. He's running out of time to prove, like Claude was saying, that he is actually a great fighter. He needs an opportunity. Beating Janabek was not going to make anybody on this panel say, oh, yeah, he's in the conversation with Golovkin and Canelo. He's actually a great fighter of this generation.
Right.
Beating Janabek would not have done that. He and Eddie Hearn said that fight, he was not going to pay and promote that fight because he said that Andrade, and Janabek, nobody even knows, like Janabek's foreign, and he's like, that's just like I can't even promote that fight. So he said Andrade needs to move up, and he said, I can't get you the big fights. You need the big fights, and that's it. So stop saying that he ducked Janabek. He didn't duck Janabek.
Right.
He's
He
fought
did
a bunch of mandatories. Anybody that has ever said that they want to fight Demetrius Andrade has fought him, except for you going back to I don't even know when and pulling these receipts that he's ducking Lara, and he did pull out his Jamel Charlo fight.
He turned Lara down twice.
That's the equivalent of Ugas fighting Jaron Ennis. Like, why would Ugas risk his record against a monster like that who's relatively unknown instead of going after Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford? Think about it.
I need to say this. When Andrade was at middleweight, it was okay for him to fight his mandatories like Liam Williams, etc. Loads of those guys. And then when it's someone finally dangerous who has a good amateur career, great pro, he then all of a sudden vacates and moves up to fight Canelo. Like, why you could have done that ages ago, man.
You don't think he's running out of?
I guarantee you, Canelo won't fight his mandatory at 168, which is David Morrell.
Okay, I mean, irrelevant. We're talking about
Andrade. I'm saying that the guys don't fight dangerous mandatories all the time.
We're talking about Andrade.
Bivol, come on.
All right.
We're talking about Andrade here. Literally, I say what I'm talking. We're talking about.
Why should he fight Janet? He just fought a mandatory this year. Why should he fight another?
Well, first of all, it got ordered. And then
I'm just saying, like, why?
No,
why
doesn't
he?
You don't make any other fighter. Masai doesn't say that any other fighter needs to fight their mandatory every time.
The problem I have, he was fighting Zach Parker. That's the problem I had. Like, it's all right. I know what your demon. You made a good point about him saying that Andrade's not got time, he needs to fight, but he was fighting Zach Parker then. What's that gonna prove?
No, because it was like I think the WBO it was forced that he had to fight Zach Parker to be in the mandatory spot. I'm pretty sure if you're the
Why didn't he
It's always something with
fight?
Andrade.
oh
Why didn't
man, that's the
why didn't
rules.
he get straight and a Benavidez fight? Just say
No,
forget
because
that Parker fight. Now
well,
he's injured. Now we're gonna have to wait another couple of months for him to get healed. And God knows how long he's gonna be out for. And then is he gonna fight Zach Parker again and waste time? He's wasting time. He hasn't got time. He's
he
35.
Hey, yo, Imran,
Yeah.
are you aware that they didn't sing the Russian national anthem or something like that, and didn't
Yeah.
say Bivol's hometown and all that,
Said he's
and
from
they
California.
had Canelo walk out first when Bivol was the true champion at 175. So it was just pure disrespect to Bivol. And also I want to say I'm kind of, even though I was rooting for Canelo, I really was kind of glad it played out this way, because had he won, it would have been too good to be true, right? They would have been saying it's the Mexican meat. Ooh, now people see that he's just human who takes risks. And also Russia deserves it. You know what's happening in the media, them pushing the fake.
Oh boy.
Where's he?
Yeah.
Where's he? I don't know.
hey, but if I could just finish on Andre, I don't know if it's the WBO, but Imran, when he
Yeah.
moves up, when Andre moves up, he's supposed to be automatically the mandatory challenger for the champion because he's a belt holder at 160. So when he moves up, he's supposed to automatically be the mandatory challenger. But they said no, because Zach Parker has been waiting here so long as a mandatory, you need to fight him. So that's why he's fighting him. He wants the David
Oh, he came with the
Benavidez fight,
receipts.
but he wanted to become the mandatory for Canelo at the same time. So it doesn't make sense to fight David Benavidez, lose your opportunity as a Canelo mandatory. You got to become the mandatory, then fight David Benavidez in some type of eliminator or something like that. But that's why, Imran. It's not because he just wanted to fight a bum.
If Andrade beats Parker, he has 10 days to decide if he stays at 168 or stays at 160 to fight Janabek, of course, because he's fine for the interim belt now because Andrade's moved up. So he has 10 days to decide. If he beats Parker, which he will, he'll have 10 days to decide if he wants to stay up there or go back down, but he'll probably stay at 168.
I don't want to see Parker fight. It's pointless. He's 35.
Yeah, no, it is pointless. It was mandated that he had to fight that fight. It wasn't like
mandated, but I just rather see him fight. I couldn't care less about that Canelo fight anymore. I just want to see Andrade fight somebody that can fight a little bit. You know what I mean? That we know about. It's just there's no point of just waiting for Canelo. He might fight you, he might not fight you. The fact is, there's other guys that he needs to fight, and he needs to probably make fights right away.
Is David Benavidez? Are y'all going to give David Benavidez respect if he accepts the Andrade fight?
Yeah, I would.
No,
I'm losing that fight.
Why would I give Benavidez respect for accepting Andrade?
Because Andrade. Because Andrade's a champion at 160 and one of the most avoided fighters in boxing.
Yeah, but he's not. He's not one of the most avoided.
Okay,
that's a complete myth.
In what sense? Like, I don't get what you mean. Like, I give him respect if he wins, but if he fights him and loses, then I don't think Benavidez gets credit for it. He lost, right? So
what do y'all say? What do y'all say if Canelo for the next, let's say, 2 years, he doesn't fight Andrade, he doesn't fight Benavidez, he doesn't fight Charlo? Are y'all gonna say that he ducked them or no?
Well, it depends who he's fighting. If he's fighting guys like Beterbiev, stuff like that, then we clearly can't.
Let's say he's fighting John Ryder and he's fighting, those guys, and then he'll fight Golovkin, and then he'll fight then what?
Well, if he's fighting John Ryder, guys like Lerone Richards, then yes, of course. But I mean, that's a whole.
He'll mix in a Golovkin.
Yo, you're acting like Golovkin. He's just gonna flip and destroy Golovkin inside.
If he goes for 2 years and he doesn't fight these guys, are y'all gonna say that he ducked him? Because this is the problem, guys. Y'all know that Canelo can fight anybody that he wants. He can fight anybody that he wants. So if he wanted to shut up all the haters and all the people saying that he's ducking and wanted to prove that Andrade was a terrible fighter, Canelo could make that fight happen tomorrow and could give Andrade any terms he wants. But he does not do that.
You do realize, right, that that people, you do realize when Canelo vacated the WBO belt at light heavyweight, literally for years after that, yes, they was accusing him of ducking Bivol, Beterbiev. You know, it's not just they're not just saying, oh, he's ducking Andrade,
when he
he's ducking
vacated at
Charlo,
160.
Benavidez. No, when he was at 175 when he fought Kovalev, remember like a couple of years ago, he
Oh,
vacated it. Yeah, I'm talking about that. They say he's avoiding Beterbiev, Bivol. You know, I actually was saying I was like Canelo's avoiding Bivol and Beterbiev. He'll fight anyone else, but he doesn't want to fight them. But obviously Canelo proved me wrong with the Bivol thingy. So it's not
yo,
just
guys.
they're not just saying he's ducking guys like Andrade. No, he's duck that he's got accused of ducking a lot more fighters.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say one more thing too before I stop because I know I'm talking a lot. But you can all go in your search bar and type it up right now. Canelo wants to fight Makabu. Canelo originally wanted, and I think you scroll down. It's the fourth link. It says on ESPN that his request, Canelo Alvarez, ESPN report, Canelo Alvarez's request to fight Makabu has been approved by I think the WBO or something like that. He did not want to fight Bivol. Eddie Hearn and PBC, they said, look, we are losing too much money for you to be fighting. You want too much money for you to be fighting these guys that everybody knows that you're gonna beat. We're gonna have to make a package that can actually bring us in some revenue on pay-per-view, somebody that's actually like you could lose to. And so Canelo had two options. He could go the as y'all know, the Charlo route or the Benavidez / Errol Spence route, or he could go the Bivol route, Golovkin, or he could fight John Ryder after that or something like that.
Yeah,
And he chose to go the Bivol route.
the Errol Spence fight's a big fight.
It is, but that's the thing though. Stop. So we got to stop saying that. Oh, okay. So people were saying that Bivol or Canelo's ducking Bivol. So Canelo said, okay, I'm gonna challenge myself and I'm gonna go up and fight Bivol. Like that's not how that happened. He got forced to fighting Bivol. He wanted to fight Makabu.
Yeah, but wasn't there? I'm pretty sure we done live about. We was talking about it. Didn't Reynoso obviously because Makabu he had the fight. He's mandatory in like last January. And didn't they say they were going to be there live and they was going to announce a fight if Makabu won? Then wasn't they planning to do that? I swear we was talking about that.
What planning to do? What? Sorry.
They was
What?
planning, obviously, because Makabu he had to fight his mandatory first, right?
Yeah.
And wasn't they going to fight the winner of that?
Yeah, they were, but that was that all got scrapped then.
And then it all got scrapped.
Yeah, and it got scrapped because the networks were like, bro, we're not paying you, $20 million, $15 million to go fight Makabu, man. Like, this is like, we can't do that.
But thing is though, that wouldn't have been an easy fight, Like a lot of people seem to think that that Makabu is a cruiserweight world champion. That's the guy's 6 foot, the guy's 6 foot plus, and he's massive. Like we've already seen Canelo's power is not hurting these big dudes like that.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right, Imran. It's definitely a challenge, but it's sort of to me like, do you think it's more like you got the size thing, but it's sort of in the same like Makabu is a B-level fighter at best. Like he's been knocked out twice.
I was fuming when that fight was going to happen.
I agree by bigger men though, by big men like Canelo. As good as Canelo is, like I think we need to stop viewing Canelo as a superhuman now. Now that he's been beat, these are bigger guys. These are big guys. Cruiserweight. Canelo started off at 147. He's a small man. To go up and beat Makabu is not an easy feat. Like I know Bivol's a better technical fighter than Makabu, but Makabu's a good fighter. You know what I mean? I've seen Makabu. I've seen the fight when he fought Tony Bellew, when he put Tony Bellew down. If Makabu hits Canelo with the left hand, the guy's over 200-pound man. It's not easy. I think we just assume because of Canelo's status that we just assume that all these fights are easy. They're not.
Yeah. I agree. That it's definitely a challenge because of the weight.
The weight plays a big part. Bivol was just so skilled, so he neutralized Canelo. But Makabu could knock him out because Makabu's a big man.
That's true.
Yeah,
you
stop putting Canelo on this pedestal now.
If Canelo took that PBC deal, they'd say he was avoiding Bivol.
Nobody would have said Makai. Oh, okay, to me,
You're kidding me, right?
nobody was no. Seriously though, the majority of boxing fans were not calling for. A lot of people didn't even know who Bivol was
No,
for real,
I'd
or
agree
that
with
he was a
I'd,
challenge.
I'd agree with D. They wouldn't be saying that he's ducking Bivol, but Bivol was the harder fight, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I bet you 100% they would have been saying, "Oh, he's stuck in a guy like Bivol because he's at 175. You know, it's a bit more of a dangerous fight." I guarantee it. I guarantee that.
Okay. Yeah. I could see if you know those guys on the side, or you've been seeing that. I could definitely see where you're coming from. But for me, like, do you think that Bivol was a well-known name in boxing, like leading up to this fight?
No,
Guys like Charlo and Benavidez, they're more known than Bivol. Definitely, they are.
Okay.
Yeah, but I said when the PBC and DAZN deals are out, I said to Imran, I don't think Canelo's going to take the DAZN deal because I feel he won't be Bivol. I feel Bivol's the harder fight. I think he's going to take the Charlo fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought, but he took the DAZN deal.
Yeah. Did you think he was?
I was shocked when he took
Yeah,
the.
I was surprised, very surprised when he took the Bivol
Personally,
fight.
I thought the PBC deal would be more money, and bigger fights and easier fights, in the sense that I do think Bivol's better than Benavidez and Charlo.
He's definitely better than Charlo.
I think he's better than
Yeah, but you know
Benavidez.
what? You know what I was thinking too, though. I agree that it was the harder fight, but do you guys think that Canelo knew it was going to be the harder fight? Because it didn't look like he really came prepared for this thing, like how we knew it might go for him. You know, it didn't seem like him and Eddie Reynoso prepared for Bivol, like how, you know what I'm saying, like how Bivol actually was his
Well,
ability.
can I say something?
Go on.
Well, when it comes to this fight, I think that that Reynoso game plan was to hurt Bivol's left hand. Like he was just constantly throwing that hook to the arm. I think they wanted to do something similar to what they did with Colin Smith.
Yeah.
And yeah, I it didn't work because Bivol is like a really strong guy, and he's already like he's been fighting his whole career in that and 175. And Smith, he's really tall and skinny. That it was easier to hurt his arm. And I think that was the game plan. And Canelo got frustrated in there. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to agree. Yeah,
absolutely.
I'd have to agree.
But do y'all think that Eddie Reynoso and Canelo rated Bivol? Do y'all think they underestimated Bivol, like Canelo underestimated him when he took the deal?
Definitely. I mean, did you see how Canelo was trying to fight him? He tried bullying him at first until he realised he couldn't. I mean, well, that's just Canelo's approach now, to be fair. I don't know, man. We really don't know what Canelo's thinking. Like, we honestly don't know, but I thought Bivol was the harder fight. But yeah, Canelo might not have fought it. So, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If he didn't think Bivol was...
I don't think that he underestimated him, but well, that's what he said in every interview, that Bivol is a really tough fighter. But maybe he said that, and actually, what he really thought, like in his mind, maybe he was underestimating him. I don't know. I don't think he underestimated him. Bivol was way better than him.
I don't know, because I just feel like, and I'm interested because I know Masai and Imran, y'all are like Canelo, fans more than, some other people. I thought I was nervous about my pick with Bivol only because I said, what if the Canelo that fought Danny Jacobs shows up? What if that Canelo shows up against Bivol? Then I was like, like that's going to be hard for Bivol to overcome, and the judges on top of it, like that might be interesting.
But
did y'all think?
Don't you think
What do y'all
Bivol is
think?
better than Jacobs though?
Yeah. No, he's better than Danny Jacobs, but I'm saying that the Canelo that fought Danny Jacobs is the better version of Canelo than the one that I saw fight. A better game plan, more in shape, more determined, more like it was just crisp, man.
Yeah,
and that's not the
Do you
Canelo I
guys
saw
think that?
against Bivol.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys think that Canelo was overtrained? Because for what he says is that he trains twice a day, and then trains golf for like 4 or 5 hours. I don't know if that's true, but do you guys think that he's overtrained?
Nah,
Because
I don't think he ever trained.
the fatigue, he's always experienced fatigue in his whole career, and I'm a huge Canelo fan. I'm Mexican. I followed his career since the beginning, and he's always fatigued from the middle rounds and forward. I think he starts the rounds strong, and then he starts to diminish. Like he gets tired, and it has been more evident in his last fights where he's going up in weight. Because I remember watching him at 147, like he could throw combinations the entire fight. I don't know. I haven't seen him like that anymore, but that's just what I think.
Canelo has a trouble with his stamina when he's put under pressure. When Canelo's put under pressure in fights and he's not able to dictate the pace, Canelo has stamina issues. I've said this before. A lot of
Yeah.
people said he sorted those stamina issues, but I just think that when he comes up against a fighter who's able to dictate the pace and able to push him on the back foot, I think Canelo has a lot of trouble. I think Canelo has trouble. Canelo likes to take rest while he's in rounds. He likes to take parts of rounds off. That's why at times it looks like Canelo doesn't ever win a round convincingly, because of the fact that Canelo likes to take his rest in between rounds. But the problem is when a guy's making him work all the way through and Canelo's not dictating the pace of the fight, Canelo's having to work at a pace he doesn't want to have to work at, which then means he gets tired and he looks gassed in the fights. That's
That's
just the way
probably
that.
why he looked so flipping good against Callum Smith, because Callum Smith didn't throw anything. That's why
Yeah.
he looked so great. But anyway, about the Daniel Jacobs thing that D was saying, that Canelo, that was one of the best Canelos I saw. He was a lot quicker on his feet. You know, in that fight, I wouldn't mind if people didn't call him flat-footed in that fight. He didn't really seem very flat-footed like he does now. You know, he was actually quite quick in his feet then. But we haven't seen that foot speed in a while now from Canelo. I feel he's just getting a lot more flat-footed because, you know, he's just relying on his power more. They're doing more, power exercises, etc., stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. And when I was seeing those training videos for Bivol, people were posting like, "Oh man, like Canelo looks so powerful." Like, remember they had showed that thing where he made that interviewer like pee blood
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Like when I saw that and I'm seeing like he's getting so big, I'm like, that's not the way that you prepare for Bivol. Like you don't need to be any bigger or stronger. Like you have as much power as you're probably going to need for or be able to attain for Bivol. You're going to have to move your feet. But Imran, I have a quick question for you. Did you if what you said about Canelo is true, you don't think David Benavidez is going to work him?
I just don't know whether David Benavidez has the foot speed in order to get near him. Like Benavidez has the hand speed. The
So
problem
you
is with
think Canelo will be on the back foot? You saying?
yeah, well, I just think Canelo. I think Benavidez is gonna miss a lot of punches, and that's the problem. And I think Canelo will counter and hit him with huge. I don't think Benavidez is technically as aware as Bivol. So I don't think Benavidez can get away from punches, and I think Benavidez just throws for the sake of throwing. I don't think there's any method in what Benavidez does. I just think whereas there's a lot of method to what Bivol does, I don't think there's any method to what Benavidez does. I just think he throws quick hands. I don't think there's any method behind it. I don't think there's a lot of IQ there. I just think that he's just relying on his hand speed and he's relying on his size to get him through. I don't think Benavidez is all that great. I think he's got technical deficiency in his boxing game.
Hey!
That's what I think.
Research Donald Marshall. Stop human cloning. Research Donald Marshall, right? He's gonna.
Who was that?
What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Right. Anyway, with the Canelo Benavidez, I think Canelo Benavidez. I think that's a really good fight. It's just like Canelo. He will take damage in that fight. Of course, he will get hit a lot. If Plant can hit him, Benavidez definitely can as well. But you know, Benavidez, he also walks into a lot of punches, and he's so open to the body and everything. And as you said, Imran, he's very flat-footed. Like he's nothing like Bivol. I see it being a very good fight, but I think Canelo would win that still, if I'm being honest, especially
Guys,
if it's at 168.
exclusive for you guys. I've just heard something. Dmitry Bivol is willing to go to 168 pounds to fight Canelo for his undisputed world titles at 168.
Oh my
Is
god,
that
he
He
is
could
an
very
is
well
ultimate
that true?
mug if he does
Is that
that.
true?
he could
He's a
very
mug if he
well
does that.
become undisputed if he goes down. Like
No.
I think generally that Bivol. I think Bivol. Look, I'm a huge Canelo fan. Okay, and last night I thought there were several moments where I thought that Canelo would get stopped, and I think if I don't know, I think it gets stopped. I think I really think so.
Guys, do you think at 168 Canelo wins?
No.
168 against who?
Bivol.
No, probably not. But Bivol will be a mug if he does that. He needs to be at 175. Like everyone,
Man, I
people
don't.
say crazy stuff when they
Are they gonna
want to get a
allow
lot more
him to
money.
do that? Because the rematch should be at 170, 175 if there was a rematch clause. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it
Yeah.
But
should be at. He
why?
shouldn't be able to change the weight.
But
Yeah,
why?
but I mean, like he said, I just saw that interview, and he said that he's willing to go down. And don't you think that, well, if Canelo sometimes, the negotiations are kind of weird, don't you think that he can make that fight happen at 168?
Oh, you're saying Canelo would make that fight happen? I don't, Imran, do you think? I don't think that's a good idea. Canelo would have to say that, and I don't think that's a good idea for Canelo. Why bring Bivol, who's been your toughest champ? To me personally, I know y'all might disagree, but Bivol gave him a worse beating than Triple G in the first fight. So
Yeah.
he beat him better.
Yeah.
So why would you bring that guy to 168 for all of your belts? I
Well,
don't get
maybe
that.
he thinks that, well, I went up to your division, you come down to my division, and use that as
Yeah, but that
as an
Canelo won't
argument.
get credit. Canelo won't get
Yeah.
if
I won't
Canelo
give him
beats
credit.
out,
Yeah, that's a
people
problem.
say he's drained.
I won't give him a lot of credit for that. Really.
No.
Not a lot.
Because Bevol's come out. I don't think so. I think Bevol's come down and said. I think fanboys can say that, but Bevol's not a big light heavyweight at all. Bevol's tall, but he can make
Exactly.
168. He can, and he has the skills. He didn't beat Canelo because he's so massive, like Beterbiev or something like that, to where he just mauled Canelo. Like he boxed Canelo. You can box at 175. You can box at 168. He can make that weight and do the exact same thing that he did tonight. The only difference would be that Canelo might change. Canelo might be faster, right? We would hope. Canelo might be quicker on his feet and better head movement, better stamina. But for Bivol, I don't think anything I don't think he's gonna. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think he's gonna be drained. I think Bivol can make one. Like when he said he can make 168, I think he was serious. I don't think he.
Yeah.
Well,
He was like actually willing to fight Canelo at short notice, at 168. Like I remember seeing that video where he was like, "Okay, if you want me to fight Canelo, just tell me. I mean, I'm still in time to go down to 168 to cut that weight."
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
think
I
that'd be a
mean,
good idea.
So you think you guys think that it would be good for Canelo to move to Bivol to go down to to 168.
For Canelo, it wouldn't be a good idea. I mean, for
I don't
Bivol,
even want to see the rematch, but I prefer at 175. I want to see the best Bivol.
I think it'll be the best, but I think that's a terrible move by I don't know who's in Canelo's corner or who's in his ear, but I just don't think I don't know who's making the decisions around here, because if just hypothetically, if he goes down to 168 and fights Bivol and Bivol beats him convincingly again, robbery or not, he beats him convincingly again, and if he does get the decision, then Bivol takes all of those belts. That will be, I don't know, man. That'll be like the end of Canelo's star run, like his this superstar face of boxing run.
I'd
That'll
agree.
be it.
I'd agree.
Yeah, I'd agree. Big risk there. He might as well, if he loses the rematch at 175, I mean, his stock still goes down, but he will still have the belts.
Right.
Yeah. And Canelo, he'll get away with a lot of it. He'll still be
Now the governing bodies might not let Canelo to hold on to those belts for very long.
Yeah, they will. It's Canelo. He's the money man.
No. But
money talks.
If you gotta realize, if he goes and fights Bivol again, people may think Canelo, if he loses to Bivol again, his star power is decreasing. And if we don't
Maybe,
know what Canelo does, they've got to move on with their, boxing's got to move on.
Yeah, he's
It's not
holding the
all
belt.
about Canelo. Thing is, we've got to move on. So we don't know if Canelo might decide to retire if he loses again. How do we know?
Oh no.
yeah.
You think he will retire him, right? I don't think so, man. No,
Well,
I
not
don't think so.
retire.
It
Who
depends
knows?
how he gets beat. It depends how he gets beat, I reckon. If he get right, obviously, I'm not saying it will happen, but let's just say he got stopped or something. I honestly think, I reckon he'll just he's gotten the money. He's had a great career still. Honestly, if he does get beat quite badly, I think he would retire. That's me being
Man,
serious. I think he would, man.
Yeah, I think I definitely can see where y'all coming from. That'd be a huge blow. But for me, it's like Canelo, he was like soaring higher than anybody in this era has ever soared. You know what I'm saying? He's
Problem is,
getting mentioned in the names of Mayweather, Pacquiao, like he is flying super high. So to say in 2 fights, he loses to a guy, gets dominated by a guy, and then retires, that's like that plane just like crash landed and exploded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
I
just
get
don't think he would go like that.
boxing is very predictable like that. 1 minute you're on top, next minute you're on the floor. It's very unpredictable. There's many fighters that look at Joshua. Look, everyone was high on Joshua and he was a superstar. People were like, no one could beat him, and then Ruiz flattened him, and then all of a sudden people's perception about Joshua changed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Agree.
Like that's just boxing. Boxing is very unpredictable. 1 minute you could be on top, next minute you could be on the verge of retirement. It's just crazy like that, So Canelo right now, Canelo's in danger. If he loses the rematch, oh my goodness.
Would your perception of him change if you lost that rematch at 175, Imran? Would you feel like now, would you feel differently than you do today about Canelo?
It depends on what sense. It depends on what sense. I still think he's for me one of the best fighters of this era, if not the best. But the point is beside that. I think that when we rate him as an all-time great and whatever, yeah, obviously that hurts you, man. Yeah, because before people were saying Canelo's one of the greatest, he's a GOAT, he's this, that, and the other. That now probably, I still think he's a great fighter. I still think he's done his dues in the game. I still think he's done a lot. But obviously now when you compare him to some of the greats, but it's hard to say because he just fought a guy that was way bigger than him and he outboxed. It's hard to say because there's not many people that take risks like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, Imran. That's what I'm saying. So why would you want him to retire? You know what I'm saying? Or not would you want him? But I would hate to see a Canelo retire if he lost to Bivol.
Oh, I would hate that. Yeah.
I want him to retire. If it was for me, he could fight on for another 10 years. But the thing is, I don't know whether he'll fight on. What you gotta realize, the guy's made a lot of money, eh? He's made a lot of money. Does he really want to go on? This is a tough sport. I don't know.
Will the hunger be there if he loses to Bivol again? I highly doubt he would have the same hunger or anything, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Man, what? Yeah, I would want him. I mean, man, because Canelo, like you said, maybe he's just biting off too much that he can chew. Go back. Like I say, he just leave it alone right now. But if you have to rematch him and lose again, okay, then that's what you got to do for you. But after that, go back down to 168. Go fight Golovkin. I don't even know, man. He'll be like what, 41? But go fight Golovkin. That's gonna be people are interested in that fight. Who knows? That's the last.
I'm still very interested in that fight.
Yeah, man. Go fight him. Don't
Hey guys,
what's
retire.
going on, Penny?
hey guys, I don't think he retires. I think knowing how Canelo is a warrior, he's in the same he's in the same cloth as like guys like Manny Pacquiao. He's gonna take that rematch against Bivol in September.
Little Penny knows.
Yeah, he probably will.
100%.
Will definitely do that.
Little Penny knows. Little Penny is same mindset as me. Yeah, he's definitely going to take that rematch.
If AJ can take that rematch against Ruiz, right? I'm 100% sure Canelo will take that rematch against Bivol.
But Lil Penny, will he take that rematch? Will he take that rematch at 168 or will he take it at 175?
No, 175, man.
Okay.
But what do you think he could do different in a rematch? What could Canelo do different in a rematch?
dude, he nearly won that fight. It was 7-5 in all three scorecards. He only needs to win one swing round. It's a draw, right?
I mean,
So
the problem
he
is
just
that
need.
I think that the judges
and
were too generous to Canelo, because I think uh, he lost like probably 8 or 9 rounds, in my
Yeah,
opinion. He
yeah, I
lost a lot
agree.
of rounds.
I think that's because Las
so,
Vegas
so
they favor fighters who are who are busy, who are come forward fighters. That's why you see Canelo and Pacquiao. They always win these close fights because they're the more aggressive fighters. Las Vegas judges like those type of fighters. So all Canelo needs to do is increase his volume. Don't get tired at the end, and he'll probably squeak out a split or a majority decision against Bivol in September, man. He doesn't need to reinvent anything. He doesn't need to retire. He just needs to up it a little bit, like an extra 10%, and he'll win it, man. I didn't
Yeah,
okay,
see.
but I
okay,
think
if I can say
that
something really
Canelo.
quickly, if I can say something really quickly,
Go
Okay,
on,
go
go
ahead.
on.
Go ahead.
that's the problem right there. That's the problem right there. You see, Canelo has that out. Canelo has that out of, oh, well, the judges will fix it for me. All I have to do is 10% more because I only lost by one round. And that fight was not decided by one round. And
Yeah, I
so
agree.
if Canelo can comfortably go into this, and people like Lil Penny, I don't know you, but can think, hey, you didn't lose by much. It was only one round on the scorecards. That's the whole problem with Canelo's legacy. I'm always gonna remember Canelo as the guy who didn't have to do as much as the other guy to win. That's the problem that I'm having with his legacy. It's hurting him. I'm telling you, it's hurting Canelo more than helping
Yeah,
Canelo to give him all the decisions that are close. It hurts him because there's a whole bunch of people out there like me who are seeing this consistently happening, and then you're echoing it, little Penny, and it's not helping Canelo one.
yeah. Well, but my question is, what do you guys think that Canelo can do different? Because in this fight, nope, there was not one punch that I saw get through that high guard of Bivol. I mean, a couple of uppercuts maybe, but he didn't really land to the body. Uh, I don't know what he can do different in a rematch.
Take as much PEDs as he can.
Oh man, no. I think if the Danny Jacobs Canelo can show up, he has to. Imran said he might not be able to fix his stamina, but I think in the Danny Jacobs fight, Canelo was moving way more. Like he's
Yeah,
moving his head,
Yeah,
he's
man.
moving his body, he's moving his feet, he's just moving all over the place.
yeah.
He's like a snake
And
or something like that.
Canelo's become
and
arrogant.
last
Canelo's
night it looked like he wanted just to just block every punch. Like he wasn't looking to move his head as much until very late in the fight when he was already tired. That's when I started to see Canelo moving his head. But
Mhm.
I think it was really late, too late for him to
I,
do
I
that.
think
Right, right.
I,
Well, I hope
I,
this is
I,
a
I
I
wake.
think
I
that
hope
has to
this
do
is a
with the.
wake
I
up
think that
call.
has to do with the extra
Wait,
weight. No,
let,
don't you
let
think the
Imran go.
extra
Let
weight
Imran go.
probably had something?
I think Canelo's become reliant on his power.
Yeah,
I think he needs to get back to the basics.
yeah.
Mhm.
I hope this is a wake up call for him. So like for him to obviously didn't not be arrogant. It reminds me a bit of Wilder. Wilder, he just relied on his power. He even literally admitted it. I'm a heavyweight. All I need is power. You don't
I
need
don't know.
skill.
I don't know if you guys notice it. Canelo's loading up on shots and loading up on huge shots and
Yeah,
throwing simple shots. Canelo
Mm,
needs to go back to throwing combinations. He needs to throw more.
yeah, yeah.
If you watch Canelo back at 154, 160, he used to throw punches in bunches. He used to throw combination punches. Now he doesn't do that. He just loads up on single shots.
I found interesting actually what Bivol said.
Well,
He said in the post fight, if it wasn't for my last two fights, I wouldn't get this fight because obviously his last two fights he wasn't really that impressive.
yeah, good point. Yeah, good
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
it's what he said. Yeah.
Imran, do you think? Are you of that logic that Little Penny said that all he has to do is throw a couple more punches, don't reinvent the wheel, and he'll squeak out he'll squeak out the victory because he only lost by like one round. Do you? What do you think? Do you
No,
think that he can kind of
I,
just tweak a couple and win it?
I think I think he. I don't know. I think he'd have to look. I think if the fight's close, I think Canelo will get the decision. I do. I think next time, if Canelo can improve, I think he'll probably. This fight wasn't close, so I think the judges. I think there would have been. I think if Canelo had got this decision, I think there would have been. Yeah, I think there would have been some real problems. If he had
Yeah.
got. So I think the
Yeah.
judge, although the judges, the scorecards weren't great, I think we're all calm about it because the right man got the decision. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if next time it is closer, right, than this, because even Claude, at most it was like probably 9-3, right? The fight.
So I agree. So
Claude?
let's say it's 9-3,
Yeah,
and next fight,
yeah,
it's I don't know, it's 7-4,
yeah.
and there's two
75.
swing. It's 7-4 with two of the rounds that are kind of close.
Yeah,
Canelo's gonna win. He's not even gonna tie. He's gonna win.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that'd be good for Canelo's legacy, man. I
No,
really don't.
I think he might have
That
to.
would
I
be
think he
bad.
might have to win conclusively. I think he'd have to knock him out.
Yeah, that would be bad for his legacy if they gave him that. It might resurrect his casual career, but it's just gonna add to the, Canelo just gets robberies, and then it's just gonna build up that Laura, all Triple G is just gonna build all that up, and so when people look back on Canelo's career, they're gonna be like, yeah, this guy was he just got robberies, like he wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other problem is I don't really see if Canelo does go the distance with Bivol. I don't really see how. I feel like the fans are gonna say, regardless, even if Canelo was to win, I think they're gonna. Because I don't think Canelo's gonna school him completely where he wins like virtually every round. I still think that there's going to be a lot of fans that probably say he lost and he got a gift decision or something, or the fight was really close. So I think Canelo will have to knock him out, personally. I think Canelo will have to go in there, come with a game plan, and look to really just wear. I think he's got to go for it. I think he's got to go and try to just look to absolutely dismantle Bivol and throw more punches, throw combinations, throw more punches down to the body, and just be more active and maybe come in lighter. Doesn't matter. Give away weight. Weight's not going to be the difference here. Give away weight, come in lighter so you can throw more punches. And that's how you're going to win the fight, in my opinion. Canelo's too slow at 175. He's got to come in lighter.
So you think he should go back down to 168, Imran?
No. What I'm saying is I think he should probably fight him at 175, but give away that weight. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have to come in at 175. He come in less.
Come in a little lighter? Yeah.
So
Probably.
it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to come in at that
That's
kind of weight.
interesting.
So then he's slow. He comes in, a weight which is more comfortable for him. So then when he's in the ring, he can just throw more punches. I felt like he gassed a little bit. I didn't feel like his output was enough. I think he needs to throw more punches. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Would you be worried though that Bivol would weigh probably 190, and then Canelo's weighing 168, 170? Like, do you think that would end up being a problem in the fight too?
Possibly. It's never good. Never good being so much smaller than somebody. That's a bigger. But Canelo's got a good enough chin, really. But then having said that, D, there's guys that have fought Canelo. For example, Amir Khan said that Canelo was 190 pound or 185 pound, and he was 150 something pound. So Canelo's been 30 pounds bigger than guys that he's fought as well. So
Yeah, but what happened to those guys?
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I agree, man. But that's what I'm saying. But I don't know. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one, man. It's a difficult one. I don't know. Canelo's gonna have to do something.
Do you
When,
think
when,
he should get?
Yeah,
Go ahead,
but
my
I
bad.
don't think I don't
Imran,
think
do you
no, that's
think?
fine.
Sorry,
comes
I was
that
gonna say.
heavy.
Go ahead.
Go on,
Go on.
guys.
I was gonna say, Imran. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm so confused right now. I was just gonna say when Canelo fought Lara, he was like one. I'm pretty sure he was like 174 on the fight night. The guy's massive.
I didn't know that.
The guy's huge.
if he's at 174 fighting Lara, then what was he to, against Bivol, you think?
God knows, man. But
I
Canelo,
think last night Canelo was 179 and Bivol was 184. I think I read a tweet from a reporter saying that.
yeah, Canelo.
You guys think he needs to take Oscar De La Hoya's advice and get a new and leave Eddie Reynoso? You think? Because you know what, I think he does. Honestly, coming off of the Oscar Valdez fight against Shakur, I knew that I thought Oscar would lose that fight. I think most of the people in here said that he was going to lose the fight, but he didn't have to lose it like that. Like he had there was no type of strategy, game plan, nothing, and there was no adjustments. Like every time I listened to the corner. And it's like there's no type of like strategy, like, okay, you need to start like, maybe going to the body, slip this, come around the right side instead of the left. There's nothing, he's just like, man, you're still in it, you're doing good, you got to work harder. Like that's not, and then with the Bivol fight, same thing. It's like you're not telling Canelo what he needs to hear or what he needs to do so that he can beat the guy. You just keep on saying stuff. And I just think Canelo needs to get a new trainer, man. He needs to get somebody that will.
Yeah, I was.
What I'll say is this: if I can really say really quickly,
Go on, Claude.
go ahead.
Go on,
No,
Claude.
what I was gonna say is, I do agree that Eddie has to give him more constructive advice. Not, mijo, ¿estás bien? Like, are you okay? You just can't say, "Are you okay?" You have to give him some constructive, some sort of path to victory. And I don't think he did that. Having said that, I don't think he should change Eddie at all. It's not the time to make any drastic. Look, he had so much success with this guy. It's not the time to change. They just have to go back to the drawing board and figure a way to try and beat this guy. I don't think it's going to work, but I think getting rid of Reynoso would be a massive, massive mistake after all the success that
He's not going to do that, though.
He knows Canelo best.
He's been with him since he was a child. I just don't see how he's going to get rid of Reynoso at this late stage.
Yeah, you're right.
They've got business ventures together and all sorts.
He's had a very bad year, though.
Last year, Eddie Reynoso was what, trainer of the year, and now all of a sudden, Canelo should change trainers. I don't think so.
It's because the competition rise as well on both of those three fights. We had Martinez, he fought Gonzalez, man, and then Valdez obviously fought Stevenson. The worst matchup for someone like Valdez, and obviously Bivol.
Yeah, when he fought Mayweather, everybody was saying that Canelo should change trainers, and he didn't. So if he didn't back then, I don't think he will do it now. The criticism, I think that Eddie is actually, like he was telling him, don't go wild and that stuff. Like he's not telling his fighters, like telling them that everything was okay. He was desperate last night, Eddie Reynoso. Like he knew that they were losing, even though he's saying that Canelo did well. In the corner advices, he was desperate. Like he knew that he was losing. I think that's what I think.
Yeah, and that crap too, man. You can't let if I'm Canelo's trainer, ain't no way I'm letting, we're coming out of that fight and I'm talking about you won that fight. Like I'm not doing that. Something's wrong, man. That's wrong. You're not helping Canelo telling him that, because he's gonna have to do much, he's gonna have to, if he wants to really win, he's gonna have to do much better than he did tonight. You can't tell him he won the fight. How you gonna tell him you won the fight?
Canelo said he won the fight.
I know, but I think Reynoso agreed, I think.
Canelo said he won the fight.
Yeah.
Last night.
He said Bivol won 4 to 5 rounds at most.
Where did he say that?
In the post
press conference.
I think he
press conference.
Wow, how can he possibly think he won that fight? That's insane. I didn't know.
You know what? That's the entitlement that I think he feels. That and that people have bigged him up so much. He drinks his own Kool-Aid. Like he drank the Kool-Aid.
Well,
once he saw that it was up 4 rounds to nothing, I think he drank the Kool-Aid and said, "Oh, so it wasn't as bad as maybe I thought, or it was close. It wasn't close, but it goes back to my point. The judges aren't helping this guy. They're not."
Yeah, but I mean, like, well, you got a point there, but I don't
Yeah,
know, man.
but that's the thing. That does that not scare you guys? If Canelo and it's I feel like if Eddie would have told him like, hey my guy, you did not win this fight. Like, no, like this was not a good performance. Like, no, I don't think Eddie. I don't know, but and I'm pretty sure I heard Eddie like like shake his head, yeah, or like say something. It was late last night when I was watching it, but I'm pretty sure Eddie agreed. I don't think that's a stretch. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that makes me nervous because if you don't feel like you lost, then are you going to have the desire and the hunger to make the necessary adjustments so that you actually can win? Is the question. And another thing, what do you guys think about this? Bivol has felt Canelo's power now. So now all those things that people were saying that Bivol would be a disadvantage, the experience, the moment, the Canelo's power, all those questions, he doesn't have them in his head anymore. He knows exactly what Canelo is and what, everything. So like, how do you feel about, Canelo and his camp's attitude saying that, he didn't want, do you think that's going to help him win this rematch?
But let's not try to make Canelo Eddie Reynoso act like John Porter's dad and embarrass him in front of national TV, saying that he was what he wanted. I also think that's penalizing for the fighter. It's maybe for for a fighter it would work to say, hey, we're losing this fight. I mean, we lost the fight. We got dominated. We need to change this and that. But what if that is worse for him?
Boys,
Uh,
let's go
well,
to
then
let's
he
go
has
to
to
the
grow thicker skin, I would say. But I will say I do believe that behind closed doors, I think between Eddie and Canelo, they probably had it out and know they lost, and they'll probably admit it. But I think there are so many factors involved that they have to come out and present that facade. It was close. Look at the judges and all that. But I think deep inside and maybe one on one behind closed doors, just with the team, I think they probably know they lost and they probably accept that they lost that fight. But I don't think they're going to come out publicly and say that just to
Hmm.
save Canelo's face and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of sad. But I think that's a part of the sport of
I mean,
boxing.
yeah, I mean that's part of the sport. Like what happened with Teofimo Lopez and his dad. Like they genuinely think that they won 10 rounds to 2 against Cambosos. Like I think that every fighter is kind of to a certain point, and it's the same with Canelo. Like he also is a fighter. Like he wanted, I didn't want it to win. He didn't want to get dominated. It's part of the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, Imran, what were you saying, Imran? I think you were
Hey,
trying to say
I
something.
was gonna go to the comment section and just read some of the comments that are coming in. So uh so what do you call it? Let's Sid UK says, well, oh man, I'm trying to get these comments up. Okay, Sid UK says this. He says, um, wow, Canelo lost to Bivol and all of a sudden Charlo Andrade beat him. That's a joke. Canelo still smashes Charlo, Andrade, and Benavidez. Those guys are not good enough. You guys thought.
Um. Well, I know the guy said that, but I kind of think he does beat Andrade, Benavidez, and Charlo. Um. I think they might be good fights. I think those two will be good fights.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I think those are
Yeah.
would be close fights. Like like I told you, I'm a huge fan of his, and like sometimes I get carried by the hype of him because I'm a fan of his. But now I think that those fights would be close. But I'm not saying that Canelo sucks. Like I'm still rooting for him if he fights those guys.
No,
Yeah.
in
I,
respect. Go ahead, Paul.
I think I was gonna say I think all three fights, I think all three fights are gonna be pretty tough fights for Canelo. But I
Mm.
really, honestly, and I'm not like loving Canelo like that. But I think he wins all three. I think, and I like Andrade, I like Benavidez, I like
Yeah,
Charlo. But I think just Canelo. He's still look. Canelo is still a really good boxer. I think he wins. I think he wins all three, even though they're probably going to be tougher fights than people
expect him to be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And, and,
I'd agree with that. Yeah,
and you guys are like realistic, like legit, boxing fans. Y'all aren't Canelo fanboys. And the issue I have with them is notice the wording of that comment. He said that he smashes Benavidez, Charlo, and Andrade. He didn't
yeah,
smash Caleb Plant. And you can't tell me that Caleb Plant is that much a whole level better than Benavidez, Charlo, and Andre. Like this is the type of stuff that you hear, in especially when you watch the fights and by the fights, the zone commentators. It's like that type of talk. You know what I'm saying? And it's
yeah.
like that stuff annoys the heck
D
out of me
Money,
because he's
D
the
Money,
only guy that people do that for.
D Money.
Agreed.
I got a question for you. Because obviously you mentioned this. Boxing historian says, Davey, what's going on? He says Canelo shouldn't leave Reynoso because he's lost twice in 60 fights since he was 15 years of age.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and you guys kind of convinced me like leaving Eddie, just abandoning him might not be the best decision. Um, but I will say the times when Canelo has fought upper competition, elite level fighters that could beat him, he
Mm,
has lost. So if Canelo wants to continue fighting those type of guys, he's putting his legacy and his reputation at risk, keeping Eddie to me. Imran, I agree with you. He
mm.
needs to change his style. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Can he change his style with Eddie?
So
I
what
Uh,
what what
mean,
what kind
well,
of training is Eddie? What do you think he teaches?
Well, I think he teaches. Well, I was watching a breakdown that showed that he teaches this kind of like pressure, like Oscar fought Shakur the same way that, or a similar style that Canelo, like you're a pressure fighter, you look to counterpunch, you look to land a hook, you know, um, that type of style. That's what Eddie kind of has them going on. And I don't think, and he's let Canelo build this style where he, keeps that pressure. He's a pressure counter puncher, and he really waits for his opponents to gas themselves out from running from him, and then sitting up on the ropes, and then he just unleashes those missiles, and then boom, and he gets his people out of there. But what happens when you're fighting somebody that won't run from you and that you can't dictate the pace against? What happens then?
I mean,
And I
I
feel like
think
Eddie let that
Reynolds,
style go
he's a
on too long.
one-dimensional trainer. He's one-dimensional. I feel he just does. He just gets all these fights doing the same stuff. I mean, Valdez, he was kind of fighting similar to Canelo. Really, he was trying to just slip, go to the body, put all his way into the punches. He just does the same stuff, really.
Yeah.
I think that
Not
Eddie
creative.
wants his fighters to be patient and well counter his opponents because Valdez was. I mean, if I remember his fight against Scott Quick, where he got his jaw broken and all, he was one of those fighters that throws a lot of punches. Maybe he didn't have the great defense, and he threw a lot of punches. And now he's like more patient and kind of picks his shots better. But I mean, Shakur is Shakur. What do you guys think that throwing wild punches and wild combinations against Shakur would have worked better than what he did in that fight?
No, but I agree with Masai that he's a one-dimensional fighter. That style that you described, do you think that's going to work against everybody?
I mean, it has worked against what 50. Well, you can say it worked against a lot of fighters, like sleek fighters, like Conceição, like Shakur, like Mayweather, Lara, Bivol. Everybody would have problems against them.
Yeah, no, I agree, but that's the thing though. It's like, if you're going to rematch Bivol, then you're gonna probably want to get somebody like, what I'm saying, like this style's not gonna work. If you're gonna fight Andrade, you're putting yourself at a risk. It depends on how good Andrade is. If he's what some people think he is, really good, then you're in trouble. But if he's not that good, then maybe it doesn't matter. But that's what I'm saying. He's putting himself at a risk if he wants to fight these type of fighters with this
And if
style. And I
you,
don't think that style really works for Benavidez. I know you guys might disagree a little bit, but I just think going in front of Benavidez and trying to trade punches, if he can't get Benavidez out of there for whatever reason, then are you gonna outland him? Are you gonna what I'm saying? Like that's a dangerous style for Benavidez to me if you can't knock him out.
Mm.
Yeah, and
I think it's a good fight, man.
I got a question for you. If you guys were Canelo, what trainer would you? Let's say that he leaves Reynoso. What trainer would you choose?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough question there. I think he just needs. I don't have a specific name, but I think I'm trying. Well, I don't know. I don't know. The first person that comes to my mind is I know Errol can have a similar. He has like the same type of body work that that Canelo can like. So maybe Derek James, just because they can Canelo and him and Errol can be similar, but
Yeah.
Errol has there's more diversity in his approach depending on who he's fighting. So
Well,
that's
but
just one
Yeah,
name.
yeah, that's a good
I
point.
think
Yeah,
that
who he works with, that he
also,
makes them work more on the jab too as well.
yeah, I also think that Canelo is kind of one dimensional, but he has showed like he wants to fight differently. Like when he fought Cotto, I thought that he looked different to the stuff that he usually does. Like there was a lot of head movement. Uh, I don't know, that kind of surprised me to me. I think that's one of my favorite performances from Canelo against Cotto.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Canelo's became one dimensional only in these last few fights. Like when
Right.
he was playing Golovkin, Jacobs, guys like that. It started going downhill after the COVID when he came back and fought Callum Smith. Guys like that. He started becoming a little bit one dimensional.
Yeah, well, I think that he's kind of stubborn. Like
Yeah.
I think that the comments from the bad comments really to his head. Like for example, well, at least here in Mexico, he has a lot of haters. Like a lot of the Mexican people don't like him because he's not like Chavez or whatever. But they really criticized him way back because he was one dimensional. That he was just a guy that comes forward and throws a lot of combinations. Like here his own people would say that. And then he fought Golovkin, and he was moving a lot. He was moving a lot. He was um, dodging a lot of punches. He
Mm.
maybe he didn't do that much damage, but he was fighting different. And here everybody said that he was a coward because he was running. That there was no quote unquote Mexican style, you know.
Mm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the problem. Like he has tried to be different. I mean, and in the rematch, what did he do? He went forward and pushed him back, and everybody said, well, he was going forward, but he was getting punched, and he didn't dodge that much. He didn't move that well. I don't know. It's just he's always in a lose-lose situation, in my opinion.
Do you think he moved better in the second Golovkin fight than this fight with Bivol?
Yeah, I mean, in this fight, like I said, there was no head movement in the first round. Like he really wanted to go the same as how he did against Kovalev. He just was trying to block punches. I didn't see him using his head movement until
Yeah.
very late in the fight. Like it was too late when he started to use that head movement, but you could see that he was very tired, and also he was struggling to dodge Bivol's punches because of the speed.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I agree, and you know what? I'll do this. I'll take it back. I don't think he should get rid of Eddie. Um, I think Eddie is just a little bit overrated, but he's had some really talented fighters in Canelo. But anyway, but I think Eddie needs to get him back to the second Triple G fight, Canelo. He needs to go to that, and he just needs to go to that. That will be better than what just happened.
Yeah.
Eddie
Um,
lost
I,
the
I,
fight, right? He?
what you say?
Eddie Reynoso lost. Martinez lost to Chocolatito.
Yeah,
Sweet
yeah.
lost
Yeah,
to.
he has lost every fight, I think.
I was very high. I was very high on Eddie, but then after seeing like the last three fights and like what he's been telling them and all that, yeah, I think he's a bit overrated now as well. I've actually realize how one-dimensional he is. I mean, he literally gets them to fight the same. It makes you wonder why Ryan Garcia actually left. I mean, we don't actually know, but like, I don't know, man.
Ryan,
Well, I mean that. Yeah, go on.
Ryan Garcia actually had a dig at Canelo. He was going in. He said
Yeah,
he
I
had
didn't,
money.
I didn't like that stuff. Ryan needs to shut up, man. Like Canelo's done more than Ryan's ever gonna do.
Yeah,
Half of Canelo's career is probably gonna be in the entirety, better than the entirety of Ryan. So I don't know why I didn't like that stuff.
I think it was
Ryan,
quite disrespectful. You know, when someone's achieved what Canelo's done, and
yeah.
then you've got a guy like Ryan Garcia. Like I felt disrespected when Ryan made some comments about Khan back in the day, and
what did he say?
basically, no, he just Khan said something that Ryan Garcia. He said something. He gave Ryan Garcia some advice. He Khan didn't say anything disrespectful, and then Ryan came back and said, "Oh, well, Khan got knocked out to Prescott or whatever or something like that." And then Khan said, and I think Khan replied and said, I was a unified world champion. I don't think you've ever been a world champion yet."
Yeah,
You know,
I didn't know that. I didn't even know that he'd done that. Yeah, that's just
something like
disrespectful,
that.
man.
Something like that. So, I just think that, you know, guys like that, young generation, don't really have any respect for some of the OGs that have done it in the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think Ryan Garcia is ever going to be the fighter Khan was. I don't think he's going to get there.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get there, man.
Yeah. So yeah.
Right. I think a lot of these guys are a lot of hype. You know, these youngsters.
Yeah, the young guys I'm actually hyped for. I like that Jared Anderson. Obviously Shaquille Stevenson. Devin Haney, I don't know, man. He didn't look good in his last fight. Yeah, Devin Haney, he's definitely got the skills. He's got the skills.
Javante?
Yeah, I do like Javante, but man, that guy's just been cherry picking now. Like, he's just wasting his career.
Well,
I like Virgil Ortiz.
Do you think it's him or Mayweather?
I think it's both.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, Javante. He had came out in an interview, and they on I think a radio show, and a radio show had asked them. They said, you know, did you ever ask, you know, for these big fights, the Loma fight and the like, have you asked for those fights? And he was like, well, no, I never. I won't lie, I never asked for them, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And so for me, that kind of exposed, like, bro, like, you're not, you know what I'm saying, you putting out all, you know, this just narratives going out, but that's not accurate, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and I think a lot of people too don't realize, like, Javante is a dangerous, bro, for a lightweight. Like, Javante is a dangerous fighter. Like, who the heck would want to fight Javante? Like, if you're Loma or you're, you know what I'm saying, Ryan or Devin Haney, like,